Gorgonzola.
Hello, and welcome to the Saladcast on Sunday, 25th of April, 2010. I'm your host, Dan Train, and I'm joined, as ever, by Rob Kemp.
Sup?
And Zachary Burgess.
Hello. I'm going with one word. Oh, wait. I screwed it up.
Oh, you went with hello, and then you started talking.
And then continued talking, so it wasn't one word any longer.
That's
the problem with going last.
I was mildly tempted there to just sort of, instead of saying sup or some sort of stylish one-word intro, to say what is actually happening quite next to me, which is the cat is having a poo.
Oh, great. Thanks. Also, it's happening quite next to you.
Well, you know.
That's the absolute perfect start to the Saladcast.
The cat is having a poo.
We get another poo tag in our tag list. Last week.
We already have 2 poo tags, and we have like.
I didn't tag Charlotte's poo.
You did. You didn't. I thought you did.
No, it's not as a tag. It's in the blurb, but
okay, but it's pretty much.
We're safe with the poo tag.
It's a bit of a plug for our last episode, isn't it?
We can probably avoid the poo tag. We might not be able to avoid the butts tag. Depending.
Has that been on one previously? No. See, this is a very important discussion, listeners. This is about how to add tags on the WordPress blog to the content of these here podcasts.
So when we have an epic library of episodes, you can filter by poo.
I think people are going to be more likely to try and filter by poo than they are to filter by something like Assassin's Creed 2, aren't they, to be honest?
Especially if they see it in big letters on the tag tree, you know, the tag cloud. It's like, you
the tag cloud. You'd be clicking. Anyone wants to click. But what is our biggest thing on our tag cloud at the moment?
Saladcast, obviously, and Assassin's Creed 2.
Oh, great.
Because you talked about it too much.
Yeah, we talked about it twice. We've talked about poo just as many times. I think that might
we have now, anyway.
We have now, yes.
Okay, so,
I think that's decided.
Moving on
tag this with poo.
Yes, so moving on from cat poo that's happening right next to Rob.
Lovely!
Let's get this podcast on the road with the classic question of what you've been playing. And I'm going to ask it first to Rob.
Yourself.
This week. I'll ask it to myself. I could, but I haven't got many to talk about because I've been a bit ill this week, hence the lack of a podcast last week. So I'm going to.
Let's talk about that first. How ill were you?
Not very. I had a cold, but you know the usual. In fact, you know how it always starts. They say it's like 3 days to arrive, and then 3 days to have it, and then 3 days to go, or something. Somebody told me that. Is that just
me? I've never heard that in my life. So
have you never heard that?
No, I can't say I have either.
You never heard that? Well. It seems pretty true because, like, the first 2 days, it's like, oh no, you know, you get like a sore throat and stuff. And I thought, oh right, well, it can't be. I'm ill, but it's just a cold. And then on that first day of actually supposedly having it, in inverted commas, like the 4th day, it's like you want to die. Basically, it's pretty horrid. But since then, I've been relatively fine. So that's just me that's heard that phrase then.
Yeah, I think
so. And presumably the one person that told you it.
Well, it was my dad, so it wasn't like some random person who like invented it and told me it in a pub or something.
In case anyone is wondering, that is also why we didn't have a podcast last week, simply because Dan's radio voice was off target.
Yeah, you might notice it's probably not ideal right now, but it's a lot better than it was last Sunday or whatever. That was nasty times.
I heard Scott Mills, he hardly has the voice for it, but somehow he gets away with it.
Yeah, but he probably has some talent and like tasted music and things that might be necessary for being a DJ, other than just talking and rambling on nonsense like we are apt to do. Yes, and I watched the
exactly
Ipcris
the most
file.
Expressive DJ in the world, is he? He's just kind of I was doing this thing right, and it turned out to be a little gay, except.
That's your impression.
Okay.
Scott Mills. Yeah. His entire sort of repertoire is basically that. It's like, you know this thing, right? And then it's like, don't you think that's a little weird? Yeah, no, all right, yeah. I'm gonna play a record now.
I actually haven't listened to enough Scott Mills to know whether that's a completely accurate. For all I know, that is a totally accurate impression in every way, and that's all he ever says on radio.
Yes, it is.
I'm just going to assume that is. I think I'd rather listen to the underground trains underneath the building than that. But who knows?
Apart from the odd "Oh, what's occurring," which is actually pretty awesome. The Scott Mill show isn't much to talk about.
Okay, let's cease talking about it then. Indeed. Right, I'm asking Zach now. What you been playing, Zach?
Oh, fine, overruled.
Yeah, overruled, man. I'm the host.
Yeah, we chose to do Dan first, and then that overruled choosing to do Rob second.
Screw you.
What the fuck was that?
What?
I thought I heard something. Never mind. Okay, nothing. Moving on swiftly from that weird sound that I heard that may or may not have existed in the podcast universe.
I thought I heard it too.
Oh, okay.
I think it was just Rob. I think it was just Rob saying something, but in a weird voice. But it sounded so weird. It was almost like a sound effect.
What? You mean? Oh, I was actually saying "screw you." Fairly normal.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
Lag.
Okay, less insanity in my brain, apparently. Okay, anyway, what have I been playing?
Indeed.
A lot of things, but not very much of anything. Well, no, that's not strictly true. One thing I have been playing a lot of, constantly, when I haven't been playing all these other things for shorter periods of time, was yet more Borderlands.
Yeah.
Not with Rob, because he hasn't been around for some reason.
You've been playing single player.
Yes, I've been continuing my single player quest and finishing the game, and then starting playthrough 2, and then getting most of the way through that again.
What made you want to start again when just as soon as you'd finished it?
Well, in playthrough 2, it's like you keep all your stuff and all your levels, and the enemies just keep getting harder and drop more stuff.
See.
So it's literally like play the same story again, but it's as if it was just continuing at the end of the first one.
Right.
Everything just keeps getting harder.
So the moment you start it, the enemies are at
the correct level. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Except sort of towards the end of the first playthrough, I'm not sure if it was just coincidental that I got some fucking awesome weapons that just kill everything so easily. So it's like playthrough 2 has taken probably half the time as playthrough 1, because I've just been like, no, I just kill you all, don't mind me, I'm just coming through. So just sprint everywhere, then just kill a guy in 1 second, and then just run away again.
So that's not necessarily meant to happen. They're supposed to be they're not meant to be easy the second time round necessarily. No. But they are.
I don't think so anyway. But I just seem to have some fucking ridiculous combo of weapons that are just insanely powerful. I've had some. I mean, I have upgraded a couple of my weapons with various things that I've picked up through this second playthrough, because of the new better drops and stuff. But there's just been one revolver that I've had practically the entire time, which just kills everything. So it's I'll just keep that. So I think I'll probably finish playthrough 2 with that same gun that I had at the end of playthrough 1.
But is it fun playing it again, even though you can beat the crap out of everything this time?
It's... I really don't know. I don't know why I'm doing it. It's just I just want to play it again. And it's because I want new and even more ridiculous guns, obviously.
It's his torchlight hoarding instinct coming back.
And the trouble is that you can't keep everything. So it's I'm already using 16 slots in my inventory to just carry things which are awesome or interesting. It's I can't start filling it up that much. I've only got 49 slots.
How does it work? Is it one of those jigsaw puzzle inventories?
No, it's just 1 slot for everything.
Oh, okay. What? How many have you got slots?
49.
It sounds like a lot.
It's not really. You fill it
up.
up.
To carry ammo in slots.
No, not in slots.
But
you fill it up with random shit off enemies easily during the course of one zone. Covering one zone, your inventory will be full, which is approximately that's about right. It should be. But then if you want to carry shit, you're starting to use up that space. Not that there's any reason to actually hoard any of the shit stuff. It's just the only reason you're keeping it is so you can sell it at a vending machine when you get to one.
Do you have to constantly sell stuff and try and go through your inventory finding stuff that is rubbish and needs to be sold? And
yes,
I hate that when you
can do it the easier way where it's you can do it the easy way where it's just you look when you look at a weapon, it pops up the thing that says whether it's better or not than the gun you're holding. So if it's a type of gun that you're using, you can just instantly go that's shit or that's good, and then you can, if you just hold down the button, it swaps it directly into that weapon slot. So if you do find something that's default better, you can just instantly switch. So theoretically, you don't actually have to pick up any crap. You could survive with nothing in your inventory. But obviously, you might want to sell it for cash. Although now I've maxed out the cash, so I really don't need to pick up anything at all any longer, unless it's actually better.
what do you use the cash for then? I mean, we talked about this last time, haven't we?
Just buying weapons, basically.
But if you've maxed out the cash...
It's really ridiculous. It's like the cash maxes out at, like, 9,999,999, of course, because you have to have all the nines. But apparently it seems to still record how much cash you have beyond that, because you can buy things and then it doesn't actually go below. Which is kind of strange.
So how much is the most expensive item in the world then?
Well, currently I've just reached max level, which means theoretically the weapons and the machines are approximately reaching their maximum level, and they're about 1 or 2 million. So it's a portion, but not as really a significant portion. You're not going to buy stuff out of machines that often.
So, okay. But it sounds like with you've got like 50 slots or whatever, and if it's like 2 million for the most expensive item, like you could almost carry so much money that you could buy like the most expensive item for each slot or something. Yeah,
probably. Although obviously, generally the stuff out of machines is not as good as what you'll find. So there's really not much point. I don't know. It's like I might as well stop picking up stuff now. These guns I have are plenty awesome enough.
So can you just keep going, like as many playthroughs as? I mean, how many playthroughs can you do?
I haven't got there yet, so I don't strictly know, but I read on the wiki that you do playthrough 1, and then you do playthrough 2, and then there's this thing called playthrough 2.5, which is apparently like where the enemies max out their level, but then you could repeat it over and over.
Okay.
Or something. So... Maybe. I don't know. Or that might just be like, it might be the equivalent to playthrough 3, except the enemies don't level up any longer, and then you can just, reload that. Maybe it doesn't actually count as another playthrough from then on. I really don't know.
So can you do playthrough 1 single player and then do playthrough 2 co-op? Because you're saying it's quite a bit harder in co-op.
There's no segregation, is there? There's no segregation between the single and co-op modes. You can.
But obviously, if someone who hadn't got to playthrough 2 themselves was joining your playthrough 2 game, they'd be shit level.
Yeah. So they'd
get awesome drops, but then those drops would be too high level for them to use anyway. So they'd be pretty useless until they. But obviously, since you gain experience as a group, you could probably power level them up fairly quickly.
Yeah,
we did hit a few issues, didn't we, with the co-op and where different players are in the story, didn't we? And it sort of went a bit wrong for you, in that it didn't register that you'd done some missions.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
And then wouldn't let you join in on the ones I was then attempting to do.
Yeah, there's some weird problems with like it detecting what missions people have already done or not done, and then when you join it says that they're invalid, and then you can't join on to the other person's mission. It's all kinds of weird stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like they've
it works best if you're like...
you know what I mean? It doesn't look like they've made the co-op too scalable, and that it's designed to sort of play through beginning to end with someone rather than sort of jump in, jump out.
Yeah, it works best if you're matched up with the server host, basically. Because the server host pretty much controls what mission you're doing at the moment, sort of. Even though that's only selecting a thing which creates a map icon.
What do you mean by server host?
Well, when we play, I act as the host. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
And then I have control of where we go and things.
Yeah. So
you don't strictly have control of where we go, because I can still activate travel.
Well, no, you know what I mean. But I'm the one that sort of has that selects the active mission and things. And...
Yeah. All that really does is create a map point, though. It's a really weird system.
But it works.
Yeah, it works fine.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah. It probably is best if you're going through with someone to just have... I mean, there's no limit on how many characters you can make, obviously, so...
I'm not sure if we mentioned this
before. Have the character.
I'm not sure if we mentioned this before, but Borderlands does sort of shout out as one of those games that's neat first attempt, but would really benefit from a sequel to just iron out some of the kinks.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do you think they're going to make a sequel to Borderlands?
I really hope so.
They've already made a lot of DLC, so...
Yeah.
They're making money, I guess.
Are you playing that?
Not yet.
No, we haven't got the DLCs.
Are they expensive?
You can get... What I found this actually really cool. If you've got the consoles, you can actually buy the DLC on disc and install it to your hard drive from the CD, which I thought was pretty sweet. And that costs you can get that cheaper than the downloads.
Oh, okay.
And it means you then have a hard copy, say if Xbox Live goes down or the DLC no longer exists online for some reason.
Okay.
It's like, for instance, if you want to go back to Halo 2 now and play all the new maps, unless you've got them installed to a hard drive somewhere, you couldn't get them again unless you had the disc.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So I actually think it's a really good idea. And to be honest, I haven't really seen it since... Well, you say that the Fallout options come on disc as well.
Yeah, there have been a couple of other instances of that happening sort of recently. It's like a new thing.
Well, sometimes DLCs. You get Game of the Year editions, don't you, that come with the DLC on a disc. Like
usually they come with a... that's a bit of a misnomer, because usually they actually come with a download code.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. There's a bit of a thing at the moment, actually, because I think Game have been ordered to put stickers on their discs to let you know that they on games that would normally have DLC in them, but the DLC code's been used.
Oh, yeah, the pre-owned stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so they have to start putting warning stickers on them.
What's that EA thing, isn't it? Operation $10 or something. Have you heard about that?
Not in those words.
No. I'm not entirely sure what exactly it was. It's something like...
Is it like they want someone to spend at least $10 on DLC for each game, or
something like that? I can't remember the actual name of it, but I think it's like the idea is, like in Mass Effect 2 or in lots of games now, when you buy them, you also get a code that'll give you a new item of armor or something.
Yeah, like pre-order bonuses do.
Yeah, like pre-order bonuses and stuff, and then you can't. That won't work in the pre-owned, obviously, because only the original purchaser will be able to use it, and that's supposed to be part of their battle against. Because a lot of the bricks and mortar stores are making the majority of their money out of the pre-owned stuff, and much less out of the brand new retail games. Yeah, at the moment. But there are entire stores that exist just to do the trade, don't they? Like CEX and. Well, exactly. I think they're doing better than the standard stores. To be honest, I mean that's how the bricks and mortar people are making their money now.
Yeah.
If you go in like PC games, especially, they're so sidelined. I don't know. No one in their right mind buys PC games in a shop anymore, do they? I mean, it's a tiny shelf.
I don't know. You can still get and this is quite irritating, actually. You can still get PC games on disc considerably cheaper quite often than you can through a digital service.
You can, but that's because they're discounting them desperately in order to, that's the reason.
But that's the thing. You say you'd be out of your mind to sort of or do that because it's actually probably the best way to buy PC games if exactly. You're not worried about the inconvenience of discs.
Indeed. So yeah, you're basically taking advantage of the fact that people can't be bothered. Because you can go in and find those random deals which you'd never think would be there, like £3 for Crisis or something,
Yeah. On that note, yay for Steam, but fuck Steam, because it's really getting on my nerves now. How there are games that I want on it, but they just don't decrease in price over time like the normal scale.
No, they don't.
Just sort of stay high for some cases practically ever. And
you have sales, but you don't have the usual decline like you have in a shop from retail price.
Because you can't imagine demand must stay that high for that long, surely.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I wonder why they don't have a more flexible pricing structure. I imagine they will in the future, more like Amazon, where it's to a certain extent it's automated, and a couple of quid will get knocked on and off depending on, and will maximize their profits while. You know how that all works. But I saw a story today that said that we in Europe are paying, on average, 30% more for Steam stuff than in America, just across the board.
To be honest, that's not unusual, though, is it?
Dollar conversion.
No, it's not unusual, but I mean, there's no reason for it, is there? With Steam, I mean, sure, with VAT and I guess that might be the reason, I guess. But
that only accounts for 17.5%. It's the same with a lot of industries, isn't it? Like the car industry, we've always been screwed on, and they always argue that it's because they have to convert the cars to left-hand drive and all that jazz, which is rubbish if they're Japanese cars. And
but when it's literally just data in bits, coming from their servers, it's just there's literally no reason for it, is there?
Other than they can get away with it.
It's pretty scandalous. I mean, they're only doing it because they're only getting away with it because, everyone else always has. So they just, no one can call them out on it very easily because it's just the done thing. But it's even worse in places like Australia, obviously.
Well, actually, to be fair, we get a much better deal on games prices than our European cousins. When I go on work trips to Amsterdam, for instance, prices for games out there are pretty high.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking really high. We're talking like 50 quid for new releases, for every new release. Not just the really high-end special edition versions, like £45 for Gears of War 2 special edition sort of is, it's on the border of okay, but because it's a special edition, you expect to pay that little bit more, blah. But 50 quid for a normal boxed copy is a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean...
And I'm not even talking €50, I'm actually talking £50 here.
Yeah. It's all localization and all that stuff, isn't it? I guess, but even so, we do get a reasonable deal, I think. Especially with PC games, they get discounted so heavily from the off, don't they? It's like 15 quid for a new title sometimes.
Sometimes,
in the shops.
if you're lucky.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm still waiting for Dirt 2 to come down, and they had like a one-day sale, didn't they, over Christmas that I missed, which is irritating. But and it hasn't ever happened again, and it's still £30. Still £30 for a game that's must be over 6 months old now, and it's just even the console version has come down, and console versions were usually quite slow to dip in price, but it's not the case anymore. It's weird.
Have you tried looking for that one in a shop in HMV?
Well, can't say I have particularly actively. I've got a massive backlog to get through before I try and buy games. So,
that'd be a good test of our theory. That things are so much cheaper in shops.
Still got Brutal Legend and Mass Effect 2 to tackle. So.
Right.
Mass Effect 2.
Well, that was serious talk time, apparently.
So Zach, what else have you been playing, man?
There is one more thing I want to say about Borderlands, if I can.
Okay, go for it.
The thing is, I want to try and not make this a spoiler for Rob. So the question I have to ask Rob is, did you play Half-Life Opposing Forces?
Can't say I did.
Okay. So, Dan, you did play
particularly
Opposing Force.
Though.
I did play Opposing Force.
Well, in that case, I can conveniently say that the last boss of Borderlands is very Opposing Forcey.
Okay.
Not uncoincidentally, assuming that because it's Gearbox.
It's Gearbox, yeah. They made Opposing Force, didn't they?
It is a very, very similar kind of boss to the end of the one of Opposing Forces, which I found quite funny when you think about it. It was like, oh, it's this,
that was a pretty weird boss, anyway. I mean,
it was weird for the Half-Life universe because
and you were attacked by those Race X aliens coming from the sides as well while you were trying to fight it. I think you had like a mounted machine gun or something, and you had to shoot into its belly that was yellow and
it was very weird.
All that. Yeah.
Wait, so you mean you have I'm gleaming from this that you fight it from a fixed position?
Not necessarily in Borderlands.
In Borderlands, I can safely say that while you don't have a fixed gun or a fixed position, you don't really move very much.
Interesting.
So anyway, Rob will see that when he gets to it. And then what else have I been playing? Well, now we can go through the games that I haven't been playing very much of, or at least not as much as Borderlands. Let's see, I can safely name 4 of them. The first 2, I broke out my joystick because it was like, I need to play something with this joystick. It's been sitting here for like several years and I've barely used it. So it's like, I'll break out the joystick and go back into basically the only 2 games that I have that use joystick, which was New York Race and Star Wars Episode 1 Racer.
Oh, really?
School.
I couldn't get that to work on
There is an XP patch.
Oh, so there is.
I was like, sweet, I can play Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, and realised that I must have been really bad at this at the first time I played it, because it's well easy.
Wait, that was pre-XP?
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a really early one.
I used to play it with the flight yoke, because that was hardcore.
Yeah. That was actually really cool like that, because you had to tip the nose for extra effect, didn't you?
Well, yeah, but that was the trouble with Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, because in order to get maximum speed and trigger your ability to boost, you have to nose down the entire time.
Yeah,
so it's really annoying. It was really annoying to play it on the flight yoke because you have to push it in all the time, and it's really annoying to play on the joystick because you have to lean it forwards all the time. It's like that was not very well designed as a control scheme.
I don't know. Yeah, I get where you're coming from, but in some ways, with the joystick pushing it forward, especially the Sidewinder joystick was quite good because nowadays I have this big cyborg cyborg 3D thingamajig, and it's quite a big thing to move around. Whereas that had like a little hand stick thing.
Yes,
because you pushed it all the way forward, then the left and right adjustment was like you had something to press against, so you could do it very finely. Which was quite good for some
does kind of help sometimes.
But yeah,
so I have this joystick. It's force feedback as well, which is the most pointless thing ever because nothing supports it.
Nothing ever supported force feedback.
It's like Episode 1 Racer does actually have options for force feedback, but of course, even with the XP patch, it doesn't work. So it's like, oh, great, pointless. And then
what joystick is it
didn't have any kind of force. It's what is it? I can see the box from here. It's a Logitech force feedback joystick, Force 3D, apparently.
How long have you had that thing?
I don't know, a couple of years maybe. I bought it. I can't even remember what game I got it for. It was like I obviously needed a joystick. It was probably when we were still playing Battlefield 2 or something.
Yeah, that might be a good reason.
Joysticks are useful for planes.
They're only useful for planes, in Battlefield.
That sounds a bit like it, because that was the point where I started using a PlayStation controller to fly the choppers.
Yeah. The choppers in Battlefield 2 were really hard to use.
But it seems like
the assault ones were anyway.
It really feels like I haven't had this joystick for that long, but maybe I'm misremembering it.
Yeah, well, you've had a few because you had the Sidewinder, and didn't you have the force feedback Sidewinder as well?
No,
was that you?
I only ever had the old classic Sidewinder.
Was that you, Rob, who had the big Sidewinder with the?
No, I've never actually owned a PC joystick.
Oh, it must be someone I know who owned. But me and Zach both had the 3D Pro, which was games for Windows. Back when Microsoft Home was the branding. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Fury 3.
Fury Cubed or whatever it was, and hi, I'm Arnie Armstrong, and you're playing Microsoft Monster Truck Madness. Yeah, that was classic.
That was epic. And then, of course, your Sidewinder managed to get the classic slightly brokenness, all because you can't turn left.
Wasn't that sporadic in that it would occasionally not let you turn left? And
yeah. It was a classic slightly loose connection in there somewhere.
I used to use that a lot to play X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. That was a bit.
It was quite well suited to that, though.
Yeah, it was good. I really liked that game. Like, the throttle on the side was great.
Actually, I really can't remember why I had this joystick.
Well, you've brought up a point that's actually worth mentioning here. Where the hell are space combat sims these days?
No, they've disappeared. Yeah, Free Space 2 was what I was going to mention.
Was pretty much.
Yeah, but
I don't really count X in that vein, though, are they? Because they're really, really complicated.
But that's more of a simulation,
elite,
then,
aren't they? Aren't the X games a bit elite-y, sort of, relative?
Sort of, except that you sort of, I don't know, the interface was all a bit rubbish. You had like panels everywhere, and
try
and control your ship whilst managing all the other instruments, and it was actually quite a mess to play.
Yes, but it was. You probably did. It was a game that would definitely benefit from a joystick, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. You'd need a mouse as well, though. You'd need, and the keyboard.
Well, yeah, that was the problem. Because there was so much interface in it, you needed the joystick, and then you needed every single keyboard button as well.
Yeah, can you imagine that?
Bits and pieces you had to activate.
That is a game you could not have on console, could you? If you need a mouse and a joystick and every single key on the keyboard to control it.
Wasn't X the game where if you didn't have a joystick, in order to fly the ship, you had to click a certain part of the screen, then it put you in control of the ship. Then if you clicked elsewhere, your old controls no longer had control, because you'd be in a bit of the interface. It sort of acted like Windows in the sense that depending on where you clicked, if a certain bit of the window had focus, your controls were all different.
Yeah, that's right.
There was all kinds of weird things. It was way too much interface for the game that they'd made. They didn't streamline it enough.
A game that they made,
There were some funny space games, weren't there? Do you remember iWar? Had sort of real physics.
I totally installed that on a USB stick. It was like, now I can play this anywhere. As in the two computers that I go to regularly, my computer and Rob's computer. I can play it straight off this USB stick because it's so tiny and requires like no resources to run.
Now, hang on, is that the same game we're thinking?
That was the one with the eyewall, wasn't that the one with the ship that was kind of yellow and cyan and sort of had bits of graffiti on it or something? I seem to remember the marketing shot that they always
no,
use.
wait.
The one you had was Hard War, wasn't it?
Yeah, Hard War.
Yeah, that's the one. Hard War.
Slightly different name.
Yeah.
They end with war.
Hard War was a sort of Hard War was a sort of very foggy yellow planet thing where you could fly around.
It was sort of a space flying sim only on a planet, but obviously no gravity or anything. The ships were repulsor lift or whatever, anti-gravity. But the weird thing about Hard War is like the ships were solar powered, so when you were flying in nighttime, you had to keep parking under lamps to recharge. It was a really bizarre system. I never got into it very far because it was like, what the fuck is going on? It didn't really explain anything.
If you had a solar powered car, you'd want to like plug into rather than sitting under the street lamps at night to try and recharge it. You want to like plug it into.
Extremely weird.
That's quite strange. Yeah, you should definitely play some Free Space 2 though, man. That's still a good looking game, I think. Space is pink and all that.
It's okay. It's slightly deficient now, obviously, but the open source work has made it a bit better.
Yeah, they've got some good explosions on that open source stuff. Like, they were making a Battlefield mod for that, but that seems to have stalled to a halt, as they always do. In fact, it's split into two halves. You know how mod teams tend to, like, fracture. Yeah, it was called Beyond the Red Line. It looked quite cool, because you had the...
Battlestar. You said not Battlefield.
Battlestar. Yeah, Battlestar. It was a total conversion for Free Space 2. They released a demo, actually, which is more than most mods managed to do. But, yeah, it wasn't that great, was it? Zach, you played it, didn't you?
I couldn't get it to run.
It was a bit... It was like they tried to... because, I mean, obviously they were like, we can simulate the way that the piloting these ships actually works in the program, where it's like, actual space, where your inertia matters, and you can turn around and shoot things behind you while you're still going forwards and all this, but that doesn't really work for a game unless you've got a very well-made control system that actually allows you to do that fluidly, and, like... It just wasn't very easy to actually do those things.
You can't tack that sort of thing on.
Like normally.
Yeah, you can't tack that sort of physics onto a game that's already got its own control scheme that works perfectly well, because it just becomes confusing.
It was kind of like because they did that in Freelancer as well. There was like a button you could hit where you'd coast in the direction you were going, and then you turn around and shoot things, but you never did it.
Like a skidding space skid button, basically.
Well, the problem was it made you completely vulnerable.
Because you were just traveling in a straight line.
Yeah, it'd be really easy to shoot at you. Yeah, fine if you're like not really under much fire and you want to do a strafing run on a big ass ship.
But when were you never not under a shit ton of fire in Freelancer?
Yeah.
Now, that's another good game. Now, I mean, it wasn't perfect.
The story missions were okay, but the unscripted missions it made up were just too tedious.
Yeah, but that was kind of
do a lot of them.
Yeah.
In order to progress the story. It was like, you need to be level 4 to move on to the next story mission. Go and grind some shit for several hours.
And the grinding was really boring.
Hours.
Oh, and my favourite thing about that game was that Zach didn't realise at the longest time. In fact, I didn't realise for a long time, but when I found out, I thought it was hilarious that you could press escape. I think it was escape while someone's talking, and you didn't have to listen to.
Oh yeah.
You're
new around here.
Yeah.
We have an agreement with the people who own this place.
That's right. We don't own this place, but we have an agreement with people who do. It's like you hear it about 10,000 times as you're playing that game. It's not even if you're going out of your way to seek all these special missions, because as you're saying, you have to do them, just in order to progress the story, because you have to level up to that certain level where the story continues. So anyone who's playing through that game from start to finish will hear that exact phrase a lot of times.
Yeah.
It's like annoying. It became a sort of a meme thing, didn't it, almost? In fact, I bet if I put that on Reddit, just that quote, that I bet it would get upvoted. That'd be quite funny. What was it again? We just said it, but that was the classic one.
We don't own
this
place,
but
we have an understanding with the people who do.
Exactly, that was genius. But yeah, you could just, because of course what they were saying was just a stock phrase, and then it came up with the mission briefing, which was in a text window. And
yeah, because obviously they didn't voice over that shit.
Yeah, they didn't have that.
They didn't even have like a generic voice sample where it's like, we need you to kill these people or something.
No, I mean, it's really weird because if you look at, I mean, fair enough for budgeting reasons and stuff, but it's amazing how much voice acting there is these days. And something like Mass Effect 2, where I know that's a really, really well-produced game, but literally everything has been recorded. Oh, no, the game I'm thinking of that's amazing is Deus Ex. If you think back, that game is... I know I go on about that game, but it's about 10 years old.
Everyone talks.
And, like, everyone talks in that game. It's amazing. I don't know how they did that. Yeah, if you think about
Probably by having bad actors.
Oh, yeah, some of the acting's really bad, but...
it was probably quite cheap.
You know, there's a scene in that that keeps coming into my head, and I keep thinking it's from a film or something, but I have to keep reminding myself it's actually from Deus Ex. Like when you go in, you know, Sandra Renton or whatever, you know, the hotel in and she's in the back alley with that punk or whatever.
Joey or whatever.
Yeah, and you have to knock him out or whatever. But just his sort of speech where he's talking like, I told you, don't play with me, that amateur, unprofessional bullshit and all that stuff. It's really funny.
The obvious conversation to remember from Deus Ex is when you first come across Gunther and Agent Navarra talking about the vending machine. I wanted orange, it gave me lemon lime.
So you think the staff have some kind of plot? You think there is a conspiracy? Yes, they do it on purpose. It's the maintenance man. Yeah. There's some great dialogue in that. Anyway, enough about Deus Ex. But yeah.
So
free space.
Now I can finish up with 2 more games.
Yes,
if necessary. 2 more games that really we don't need to talk about, and there's not very much to talk about, and it's really boring to talk about. Guess what they are?
Perfect. What's really boring to talk about, Rob? Any
Dwarf
ideas?
Fortress.
Yeah,
yes, that's one of them.
Okay. And the other one?
Yeah, no one cares.
Yep. Well, the other one is, of course, Eve.
Oh,
which
that's
I've already talked about extensively. So
let's
just quickly go through these 2 things. Dwarf Fortress, nothing new. Hasn't even been a bug fix since I last talked, but I've just been playing it a lot because it's still awesome. And that's that done. Right? Now on to Eve. There's the patch coming up, in theory. I think it has the date of May the 18th. So
What's in the
starting
patch,
to get
then?
close. Planetary interaction is the new thing, where you'll be able to, in a sort of vaguely sort of it reminds me of how you get resources in what's it called? Supreme
Mass
Commander.
Effect. Oh
No, Supreme Commander. Well, probably Mass Effect as well, but I haven't seen Mass Effect 2, so I can't say. But it's like you scan the planet and then it shows you like resource hotspots, and it puts up little icons where you drop buildings onto them and then you link them up into a resource train or whatever, by the looks of it. This is all still, it's not even remotely close to finished, even though it's only a month away.
So can anyone do this to a planet then?
Well, this is the thing where I went and read their like preview page and everything, and it says in their sort of like describing it, it says it will be accessible to new players and veterans alike. To which my automatic reaction is, yeah, right, because whenever they make anything that they say will be accessible to new players does not mean like someone who's just joined the game. It's like you need millions of money and you need like some amount of skills, because there'll obviously be skills to train to use these things. So that will be
of course.
some amount of time before you can use them, and then all the modules and stuff will cost some amount of money to build. It's like, but at least this time it has said that you'll be able to do this in high security, so it will actually be possible for me to do this because I don't go outside high security.
But how many planets can there be? I mean, I know it's a huge universe or whatever, but in high security, surely everyone's going to be clamoring over the planets to try and mine them.
I don't know, because I mean, there's like there's something in the region of like 10 planets per system, more or less.
Yeah,
and you know, it isn't that difficult even in high sec to be in a system where there's only like 2 people in it. So
yeah, but that's only at one time, isn't it? I mean,
well, I can see there's the real question is, how does this all work? It's like, when you scan a planet, is that independent for you, or do you see everyone else's stuff that's already there, and it like, so people can occupy the spaces?
Oh, so you think multiple people could mine the same space.
Yeah, I think it's quite possible that multiple people can mine the same planet, but I'm not sure, whether there's like you can't put buildings too close to other people's buildings or whatever, or whether you'll even see them. I imagine you will see them, because otherwise that'd be kind of dumb from MMO environment.
Yeah, because then there's no interaction at all. That's not much fun, is it?
That's pretty much exactly against Eve's clan, isn't it?
Yeah. So I imagine you should be able... I mean, I can see the planets being big enough to have several people all extracting resources from the various hotspots on it.
But do you think like corporations will come in and with a bunch of members and take over a whole planet and like be all mining?
Yes.
Yes. I mean? Basically, yes. I mean, the real question will be how the rush for resources happens. Like how easily can you lock down the resources so that no one else can get them, or how, basically what resources will you be extracting and how popular will they be, and will it be worthwhile to actually do it? All these kinds of things that are total unknowns at the moment. So then obviously as soon as this patch goes live, there'll just be an insane rush where everyone will be like, must get planets!
Just to see whether they're worth anything. I bet they won't be worth too much initially, and they'll like bump it up after people.
No, I think normally it will be the other way around. It'll probably be worth quite a lot to start with, but then it will tail off quite quickly. It was like ice mining when that first was introduced. It was like you mine a piece of ice, and one chunk of ice is worth £1 million. And now they're worth like.
Awesome. I like how you nearly said quid with an F there. $1 million for quid.
$1 million fucking quid.
Fuck quids.
It's ISK.
Yes, it is ISK, but I was trying not to say ISK because that sounds weird.
I quite like ISK. I think it's better than saying, so many sci-fi universes just say credits or something boring. I think ISK is true. It's quite good.
But so this big rush for planets will be occurring. In preparation, I've been wandering around my local systems and then like taking note of interesting planets.
I reckon ISK stands for International Space Cache.
Yeah, they probably do.
It almost certainly does.
With a K.
So what do you mean looking for like interesting planets? What's interesting about them at the moment? How would you know?
What I've been doing at the moment is I've said interesting, but that's actually a lie. I've just been recording all the planets, and they like all the planets already have like a variety of data attached to them, which at the moment in the game has absolutely no significance.
Yeah,
and even with this coming patch, I'm not entirely convinced it will anyway. But there's things
the same with Mass Effect 2 as well. Like and Mass Effect 1, I think every single planet has a load of flavor text. Yeah. It all has all the data about the planet for no reason, and someone at BioWare has the job to like make up this crap for every single planet in the universe.
Yeah, but in EVE, it's like obviously auto-generated for the different types of planet and like their distance from the stars and stuff. But then it has all the stuff like temperature and atmospheric pressure and escape velocity. And it's like you could theoretically imagine that might be used. Like escape velocity, certainly. It's like you have to launch this shit that you're mining off the planet back into space. So surely escape velocity should be important. If you find a planet with low escape velocity, your cost will be lower. But then again, I somewhat doubt that will actually be the case.
I mean, in the real world of space mining, if that ever happened, that would be the most important thing. Because I mean, it costs vastly more to launch, a lump of coal mined on Earth into space than it does to mine the coal in the first place, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I've been going around looking at the planets and recording all these various data, where it's like this might come in useful, but maybe it won't. But really, probably the most important thing to record is the type of planet, because that will obviously affect what resources you get out of it. And some planets are kind of rare. So it's like you go around and it's like, oh, gas giant. There's bloody millions of gas giants, so presumably they're not going to be important. I've only found one oceanic planet so far, so I took definite note of that. It's like that'll probably be the first planet I go to when I get my hands on whatever this planetary interaction is. Okay. It's like, that planet is slightly rarer than all these other planets. Therefore, whatever comes off it will be slightly rarer and slightly more expensive.
Is water a unit in the game? Do people need that?
Yes, you can already get water off the market through unspecified means, NPC sale. So presumably you can mine water or some other resources. So I took note of that. But then you can really tell that all these statistics that are attached to planets are auto-generated because they don't make any sense most of the time. It's like gas giants whose atmospheric pressure is rated as very low, and planets it's like the temperature of planets only depends on their distance from the star. So you could have ice planets that are incredibly hot because they're right next to the star.
That's great.
And I did find one planet that is totally bugged out, which just has really fucked up numbers. It's obviously an error, but there's like its surface temperature is like a quarter as hot as the star of the system. And it has an atmospheric pressure of like 15,000 kilopascals. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Where is this? What, is it like really close to the sun then? If it's
it's just a regular planet. But obviously something has bugged out in the random number generation and has given it ridiculous numbers in its statistics. So it's weird. Maybe I'll have to come back and mine this planet just to see what the fuck happens. Probably nothing, but it'll be funny.
If there really is a link between these randomly generated stats that are already there and the resources that are going to be there after the mining patch, then some of these glitched out ones are going to have like ridiculous resources.
Yeah, that would be quite funny if those numbers actually do mean anything. So that's why I've been taking note of these planets. I did find a couple of planets that might be awesome if escape velocity is important. Where I found one where it's like its escape velocity is like 1 meter per second. It's like, yes, brought stuff into space super cheaply.
Yeah, that'd be easy to get away from. Don't jump too hard though. Standing on the surface, fly into space.
So that's what's going to be happening with Eve soon. Although saying soon, it's like another 3 or 4 weeks away. So we won't be hearing anything more in this podcast until a month probably.
Okay, well I'm sure you'll let us know when that patch goes live, and
yes, when I actually have something more to talk about.
Things might get interesting.
Incredible space koalas.
Space koalas?
That's what you think ISK stands for. They're trading in incredible space koalas.
That'd be great. How many incredible space koalas do you have now, Zach?
I have currently somewhere in the region of 950 million incredible space koalas.
That's a lot of koalas. That's pretty incredible.
Although the best thing is, like, because you get, like, random bits of crappy loot that don't, you never use, and they just build up over time. Things that drop out of, like, NPC pirate stations that have no reason for existing, like janitors or whatever. So I've got, like, you gradually build them up over time. They tend to drop in, like, quantities of 10. But then it's like, so I've got, like, my hangar has, like, 500 janitors just standing around.
What are janitors in the game? What do you mean?
They're just like
clean stuff.
Yeah, like you destroy an NPC like bunker or whatever, and some janitors pop out, and then you pick them up. But they're totally pointless because they're not actually used for anything in the game. They're just like a random trade good.
So you can't use them to clean your own spaceship.
No, unfortunately. But you get all kinds of weird people like Marines and of course, the classic one is exotic dancers. It's like you have to collect most exotic dancers.
Why? You could sell these
pervert.
You can sell these things.
Yeah, boy.
But they have no value.
Yeah, they have like if you look on the market at all the people who are actually selling them, they're like 10 ISK for a janitor.
I would definitely sell my janitor for 10 incredible space koalas. Yeah, that would definitely be worth it.
It's weird. ISK is actually quite a difficult one to think of decent meanings for, other than infantile sex kangaroos. I don't know.
But isn't ISK actually? That's actually Iceland currency, isn't it?
Is it?
It might be. Yeah, I think it might be.
They're international. Hang on, I shall consult the internet.
Iceland currency.
Well, it's because Iceland in Icelandic is spelled IS something. So
yeah, Iceland currency. They didn't really think that.
I don't think it stands for Iceland currency with a K. Somehow
it could do.
Let's see, currency.
Probably more likely that than is cock or something. I don't know.
It's Icelandic krona. It is indeed.
I said krona. I don't know why I had that in my head. I thought
Corona, the beer.
Not the beer. Krona. It's with a K.
Oh, okay.
Not Corona.
Oh, I really wish it was.
Icelandic Corona.
Icelandic beer.
Be Icelandic Mexican beer, wouldn't it? It'd be weird.
Yes, so that is what it stands for. It's spelled IS. ISLENSK.
Wanna see volcano?
Yeah. Well, what happened was that there was a big financial collapse, wasn't there? In Iceland, all the banks failed and their currency failed, didn't it? I presume.
Well, the best thing about it was
So they gathered together all the currency and they shoved it all into a volcano, and now that ash has gone all over Europe and we can't fly anywhere. So
money cloud.
It's the story of Isk.
Well, the classic thing about Iceland and Eve is apparently, according to the Eve front page, they've just been awarded the Icelandic presidency award for best export or something for their continued income for the country of Iceland by selling Eve online.
Because everything else went crap, and
Eve
was
the
only
thing that's supporting the economy.
It's quite funny.
Go gaming.
I imagine World of Warcraft is a considerably larger economy than Eve, but...
Well, yeah.
Soon they'll be the nation of Blizzard.
The nation...
Blizzard versus Iceland.
Well, it sounds like a very cold Armageddon going on in the
Coincidence? I think not.
The land of MMORPGs. The Old Republic is coming up as well. I keep seeing videos for that. I still don't think it looks that great. It basically looks like World of Warcraft, like graphically, and you'd think, that's one thing they'd want to improve on if they're coming out in 2010.
They could kick it up a notch now quite easily.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Even if they were trying to target the majority of users, say, aim ahead if you're going to last any time.
Yeah, it seems odd because and all the combat.
A hell of a long time on shitty graphics.
Yeah, but the space games are easier.
Well, it was never bad looking. Even before the new patch, it was never that bad looking. Everything was shiny and there was plenty of bloom and glare, and it all sort of worked.
Yeah,
space games are just easier to render.
Obviously, you don't have to render as much.
Yeah, you don't have to render the environments. You only have to render the ships.
But still, the worst thing about Eve is the stupid star map in the background. I liked how in one of the when they did the graphics patch and they were like, one of the patch notes said updated the star map, and I was like, holy shit, yes, it might not look crap, but what they actually did was basically open the star map in whatever image editing program they're using and dot some more white dots all over it. It's like there's more stars. Woo! It's still as shitty quality as it ever has been.
Is
that really disappointing?
The map of the galaxy.
Yeah, but that's the other problem with it, because it's not. It's just the static background image with a nebula and then white dots all over it to simulate stars. It would be
like the
so much
skybox
more
but
awesome.
for stars.
It would be so much more awesome if it literally, took the positions of all the other neighbouring stars in the galaxy and plotted them. I don't see why they don't do that.
That would be awesome. They should definitely do that.
Because it's a lot of effort that no one would notice.
I don't know. And it would look better than what they've got at the moment. And where are all these nebulas? That's always my other problem with the Eve background. Every system you're in has a nebula in the sky. It's like, where are all these nebulas? You're never actually in a nebula.
Well, maybe they're above or below the kind of plane of the Eve universe, because the Eve universe is kind of mapped out near enough on a solid plane, isn't it? And
well, it's not incredibly flat.
But if you were to consider the entirety of it, it's quite a line.
Yes, but that would work if the nebulas were really far away. But you can jump from system to system, and you look, and it's a different nebula between two fairly close stars.
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense.
It is literally just a ridiculous background. I wish they'd update it.
That'd be really cool if you could look at a star in the sky and you could sort of turn on a mode whereby you could mouse over it and it would tell you what it was, and it would also show you it on the map. So you could be like, I want to go there. Oh, wait, that's really far away. Okay, what about this one? Oh, it's 2 stars over. Okay.
That would be kind of cool. Really, I mean, I really don't know why they didn't do it. I mean, presumably it would be a lot of effort the first time to generate, even if they were literally just images generated based on the positions of the stars relative to each other. It would be a lot of effort to do it the first time. You'd have to do it with some kind of, programmatical. It would go through, compare the position of each stars, paint them onto the sky map, and then generate that picture. That would just be so much more awesome.
Well, what word did he mean? Programmatical.
Just programmatic.
Programmatic. Yes.
Programmatological.
What is it? It's procedural, isn't it?
Yes, procedural, programmatical,
grammatical. Grammatical procedural.
Grammaticals. Okay.
Oh,
yes.
dear.
This is planet I before E.
No, not after C. It's not after the C.
The Great War of C. They don't get along.
C?
The Great War of C. Yeah, that's why. You know, I has to get in. That's why E has to get in between C and I. You know, to stop them having a fight.
Oh, it's like a sort of Cold War situation. Standoff.
Yeah, and it's grammar politics.
So,
but speaking of politics, has anyone actually decided who they're going to vote for yet?
I'm.
Wow, that's a heavy topic.
That is a heavy
topic. It's serious time again.
Yeah, welcome to serious time.
Mainly because obviously the digital economy bill happened, and it's a big pile of shit. And,
yeah, that's a big bastard, isn't it?
And Labour should quite literally be hung.
Well, it's
by their
Peter
scrotums.
Mandelson's fault. It's Peter bloody Mandelson. But the Tories would have done the same thing, so it's not really him.
Yeah, probably.
But I tell you what, I know who someone is voting for, and this is hilarious in a way that is entirely not hilarious.
BNP.
My grandma is voting BNP.
Oh, really? That's hilarious.
It's like, what the fuck?
No way.
Perhaps you shouldn't be saying this on the internet in case she gets lynched.
Yeah.
She's not saying it, luckily.
It's hilarious, but entirely not hilarious. She only does it because of generic old person dislike of immigrants, you know.
But why?
Age-old racism.
Yeah, it's very generic old person kind of, you know. They're just default racist, even though you know they don't know any better. It's just how they were brought up.
Yeah, but old people now are not. Old people now, when were they born? Like, I don't know. I'm just saying they're not that old. They are, but like it's 2010, you know.
Yeah, they were. You know, we're talking. Most of them are post-war era now, aren't they?
Exactly. Like, born during the war, maybe. You know.
I don't know. Unless they hold some grudges from the Cold War and things. Those commies.
What's that got to do with immigrants though? None of them are like commies.
I don't know. Maybe, you know. Well, I don't know. You never know. I suppose the Polish weren't originally commies, but they're brought up with stupid education, I guess. And
yeah, but the Polish, that's been
assume
in the
that
last,
they sort of sound Russian.
That's been in the last few years, though. The Polish. That's only since they joined the EU. And
even now, even with this current generation of old people that are like just starting to get post-war or sort of mid-war, there's still like. You still get the generic racism, where it's like, black people, and it's like if like your daughter is marrying a black person, that's still a big deal to old people currently.
Yeah,
not for much longer, I suspect.
No. Still,
I thought that was more of a deal of the classic sort of, you know, Asian families not wanting them to marry into Caucasian realms.
Oh, there's all kinds of prejudices.
Kingdoms.
But I'm just wondering, like, surely your grandmother has like voted probably Tory, Labour or Tory or whatever for all her life, probably since she could vote.
Yeah.
You know, why would you change to the BNP? Well, surely she'd vote Tory. That would make perfect sense. She probably voted for Thatcher and, you know, all these
because
years.
Suddenly it's the classic sort of new option when you're disillusioned with what the other people are doing, because goddamn politicians never do what you tell them to or what they promise they're going to do. So eventually you're going to end up voting for some retarded party.
It's all turned into a goddamn middle ground, isn't it? None of the parties do anything dramatically different enough to, none of the major guys sort of to warrant voting for them almost.
Well, that's
kind of how my opinion is going now, because it's like, even if Conservatives get in, which they will this time, because let's be honest, Labour doesn't stand a chance. They'll get in and they'll then go, right, we're in power, yay, let's have a big party, and then do nothing.
Yeah.
Well, there might be a hung parliament at this rate. It is looking increasingly likely after that television debate, which was, I don't know why everyone was
so... That's the other classic thing, isn't it?
Everyone in the media was so surprised by, like, Nick Griffin, in inverted commas, winning that debate. But it was practically...
Clegg.
Yeah, Clegg.
Wrong
Nick
Nick.
Clegg. Okay, sorry. Wrong Nick. Sorry. Yeah,
The BNP is winning, apparently.
Yeah. Okay, Nick Clegg. I don't even know him anyway, but yeah.
No.
And it was almost inevitable from the beginning because, it gives him equal weighting with the others, because there's 3 in the debate, whereas, in the parties, Tory and Labour are much bigger. But
listening to him talk, though, he doesn't sound like he dodges questions, or at least he at the very least he's confusing me into thinking he's not dodging questions.
He's a better politician, in other words.
He's quite straightforward.
He's doing his job better.
But,
at the very least he comes across as slightly more believable. And when asked about the difficult questions such as immigration things and his new system to tackle it, and potentially, I think he had a system about how to get harsh on illegal immigrants and things. He sort of when some people asked him, it's like, well, hang on, what you're asking is actually going to be pretty tough. How do you expect illegals to actually come forward and say, yeah, I'm illegal, and in order to act on this? And he's like, yeah, you know what, it's going to be pretty tough. I'm not. It's not going to be totally straightforward.
Yeah, he had this amnesty idea, hasn't he? Sort of. He's trying to deflect, but that's what he's doing. But he has a good point, which is that the other parties are saying, no, we can't have an amnesty if you're illegal. You're going to be deported. And he's saying, well, there's
how are you going to know if you're illegal and you're here? Then you're getting away with it. So why not? Help those guys that are here at least, and then
make sure that the other guys who are coming don't.
Yeah, then jam up the rest of it.
But I think the Labour system with the ID cards. Not for everyone, but for the immigrants. So you can't get a job if you're an immigrant and you haven't got one of these ID cards. That way, if you're a legal immigrant, you're not going to get any work and you're going to be screwed. So you're going to have to leave anyway, aren't you? Really? So that seems fairly sensible, to be honest.
What I want in politics, in order to make me care even slightly, is more ridiculousness. Well, not really ridiculousness, but more like
what?
More ridiculousness,
more vigorousness towards stupid
more cats
things.
in Parliament.
I want some politician or some political party to be super pro fusion power. We're going to dump money at research into fusion power until it actually happens. Stop pissing around. Get on with it. I'm really bored of not having fusion power.
Yeah, they're quite moderate, aren't they?
Yeah.
In general.
No, even the sort of the ones that we know won't get to power, like Green and to a lesser extent. Well, I don't know. Have you heard about the New Party? I just got a leaflet through the door today about them. It's like, I've never heard of you. You can't desktop publish. I'm not interested.
They've accidentally left new document on their page and then thought, oh yeah, New Party. That's great.
But, I mean, even they aren't saying we're going to outright sort of completely and utterly change the way we're doing it. I mean, Green obviously are saying we're going to look into renewable resources, but weirdly they don't sound particularly convict. They don't seem to say it with massive conviction. It's not like, right, we're going to push for green, we're going to absolutely do it.
It's like they're all, no matter what happens, it's like you never see any dramatic change. It's just gradual shifts from what we already had.
Fuck that shit.
Moderately,
basically.
Yeah,
fuck that shit. If you want to make a difference
I want
in this
fusion
world,
power. I want space travel. I want, god damn it, let's hurry up and get this goddamn human race doing shit again.
Yeah, I mean,
if we're going to be trying to fix this, the global energy crisis, screw global warming and all that. Probably the biggest issue that seems to be completely overlooked is the energy issue. About it's not going to be long, I reckon, until we start running out of fuel, or at least until there's not enough fuel to keep Britain afloat. Because our supply chains are starting to run a bit shit and all that jazz. Nobody really seems to care about that, and it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
If green solutions are the solution to that problem, then fine. Surely we should be tackling that with slightly more urgency than taxes and.
It's this is probably the most
racism.
Ridiculous thing for someone who is 25 years old to be saying, but it's the goddamn human race is moving so slowly. Get on with it. Why are we not progressing?
We have. I know it is an absolute. That's a really good point to me. We've stagnated. There's no space race. There's no. Progress is slow, except in the field of mobile phones and gaming. Thankfully for us, but
yeah.
Gaming, indeed. It's the only thing.
Hurry up and sort out those hydrogen cars as well, so they damn well work.
Yeah. Where is progress, damn it?
Where is our efficient hydrogen extraction?
We may have only been alive for 25 years, but I'm already bored of this shit.
I know. There's been a lot of progress in areas that we care about, to be honest. If you just look back 10 years at what's happened with the internet, it's absolutely incredible what's happened in the past 10 years with broadband and all that stuff.
We should totally be on the moon by now.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Obama sort of cancelled that, and then he's gone back in and said, okay, everyone was upset because he was like, no, we're not doing this Orion project thing. It's a bad idea. And everyone's like, no, we need manned spaceflight. And now he's come back in and he said, right, well, this is the sense to do it. And we to the Mars by 2030 or something.
Oh, no. I'm not entirely convinced that space travel is what we should be looking at. Exactly. Or,
fusion power first, I say.
Yeah. Solve the energy issue and use that to power space travel. There you go.
Cunning.
Yes, that's basically the plan. As far as
logical ordering, people. You have to have something before you can do the next thing.
I still think it's stupid where it's like, we're going to build the International Space Station, and in 2010 it will be mostly finished, and then like 2 years later, we're done. We'll just let it crash.
Yeah, it is weird, isn't it? It's because they can't service it, can they? Because the shuttle's going to be retired. So
that is the worst thing. Where it's just like, we're building this awesome space station, except now we can't use it any longer because we don't have any way of getting there. Great plan.
I don't know. It is going to be extended past what you're saying 2 years. It's going to be extended for at least another 5, I think. But
well, compared to how long they kept Mir going, that's like nothing. Considering it's literally pretty much only just being finished now.
There's
true. No plans for a shuttle replacement, though, are there, at the moment?
No, not currently. I mean...
Why not just make Shuttle 2?
Yeah, but that's not going to take us beyond low Earth orbit, which is the aspirational thing for
I guess, but you still need something to... If you're going to do space research up there to get you to and from, it seems a bit retarded to just abandon it.
If you're going to do actual proper space travel, you clearly need engines that aren't just mix some chemicals together. You need something more technological than burning shit, basically.
Solar sails.
They had that great idea in the 60s, didn't they, with the nuclear propulsion drive thing, where they could literally get...
But that was the 60s where everything was nuclear powered.
That was amazing, though. I mean, that genuinely works. The problem is getting it off the initial part of getting it into orbit, because it's incredibly dangerous, like blasting
and super heavy
nuclear bombs into space. But once you get it up there, you can they shove a nuclear bomb out the back of the spaceship and then detonate it, and they have a big plate, a big pusher plate, which is made of solid iron or something, with a bunch of pistons and springs, whatever, cushioning the impact, and it just takes the impact from the nuclear bomb and as an impulse, and you just keep doing that, and you get the most incredible specific impulse.
Very much a giant chunk of metal flying into space is incredibly expensive to get that out of Earth and into orbit. Clearly, we need asteroid mining or some shit.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know if there's resources there that.
And there's some kind of you're not even allowed to use nuclear power in space because it comes under that stupid nuclear space weapons treaty or whatever.
Yeah, it's a treaty problem. That's the reason why.
But not that anyone would do it. I mean, seriously.
I don't know. I think
it's you get nuclear submarines, which is the equivalent of being in space.
Well, yeah, but you're not literally blowing up nuclear weapons to propel a submarine.
Yeah, but you could still use a regular nuclear power to propel a spaceship.
Well, not so easily, because you need nuclear rockets or jets actually expel. Whereas a nuclear submarine is already in a medium whereby it can propel itself via the use of a propeller. So all you need to do is drive a shaft. Whereas obviously that's no use, going through.
But hydrogen space. Scoop or whatever.
All
these stupid theoretical technologies that don't exist but should. God damn it.
Tachyons
and freaking plasma scoops.
Well,
it's all about scooping. Star ice cream.
Yeah. What I want to see in my lifetime, I want to see not asteroids. I want to see comets being diverted to crash into Mars. Because God damn it, let's terraform that place.
So guys,
why?
Rob and Zach.
Because you need to get water onto Mars, and it's like, how are you going to do it? Crash comets into it, obviously.
So we have a big question coming up on May the 6th. We have to choose the party that's going to crash comets onto Mars. So who are we going to vote for? Who are we voting for? Gordon Brown, I think
he has the face for it.
He has a Facebook crash comments.
Well, should we just drive Gordon Brown's face into Mars? Would that be enough to put it off course, possibly crashing into the sun?
To be honest, I don't know.
You wouldn't have to drive his face into it. You'd just have to look at it for a long time.
Well, do you reckon if he smiles at it, you get like a royal rainbow coming out of his teeth?
Yes.
I don't honestly think that any of the parties that are running for this election have that as part of any of their manifestos. I don't know.
What,
See,
royal rainbow teeth?
I was talking about. No parties have fusion power or space flight or crashing comets into Mars on their agenda, and therefore I don't care.
Yeah, but you haven't read the leaflet from the new party that's come through.
That's true. I will have to read that later today just to make sure.
You never know, that might be one of their policies.
They have this rather stupid and fairly unbelievable checklist on the back that seems to assume that they'll get into power, but I suppose they kind of have to have their policies list. But it's just like, these parties are doing virtually nothing. In fact, the Lib Dems and UKIP and the BNP have nothing but red crosses. But somehow, we can lower taxes, we can improve public services, we can improve the economy and make sure we're greener than green greens. And
generic promises, woo.
Yes, let's just promise everything and hope for the best. We won't come up with anything original, no. We'll just say, all you guys,
do what all these
good
guys
stuff.
do, except better.
Yeah. And new and improved nothingness.
Right, so I guess we ought to talk about what Rob's been playing.
I think that might be a good idea.
We've done serious time, which then morphed into entirely not serious time.
It morphed into space nuclear comet diversion using Brown's face.
Hamsters.
And
Gotta be
hamsters.
Oh yeah.
Space koalas.
Hamsters power everything, you know. The Eve server is powered by hamsters.
This reminds me of a conversation I think I've had before with... Was it...
I suspect we've had this conversation before.
Yeah, me and Zach. I'm sure we had some kind of political kind of vision for the future.
Oh no, not the.
Oh no,
you're thinking of the loony party coming to power and all the fucked up shit that we imagine they do.
Yeah, that's right. No, we don't want to think
Cats in Parliament.
That. I think it involved diverting a lot of human waste into a chamber containing all the other politicians. Is that?
Yeah, that is true.
Never mind. So
we were
Rob,
bastards apparently as well.
Yeah, we were. Yeah. Poor old
us.
Poor old Nick Griffin.
Gassed them with man juice.
I'm not sure it was actually all the other political... I think it might have been one specific person.
Yeah,
but I can't remember who.
Well, let's just make it Nick Griffin. That would make sense, I think.
Oh shit, we talked about poop again. God damn.
I like the way get tagged now.
Moving on to Rob, quickly.
Yes, what you been playing, man?
Well, yeah. Again, like Zach, a bit of a eclectic mix of poop.
Of games.
I haven't really focused on
I
any
do
of
not want an eclectic mix of poop, thanks.
Various different types.
Really
ranging from the machine gun to the ghost poo. It's
games, Rob, games.
Okay, yeah. Gotcha, got it. On topic.
This is not the shitcast.
It's becoming the shitcast.
As Tim Westwood would say, get on message! And it's, okay. Westwood. Serious Sam. I finished it at last.
You finished Serious Sam?
Yeah.
What's this HD version?
Yeah, Serious Sam HD. Available on Steam. It's it's just to put this in perspective, imagine old school games with your proper health system, your limited ammo, and your inability to do anything crazy, and the AI's inability to do anything other than run at you and shoot, and then have millions of enemies. I mean, quite literally, tons and tons and tons of them, and stupid enemies, and the occasional one-liner, and that is Serious Sam. Oh, and set it in Egypt as well, just for the hell of it.
So what's the final stand like? How many enemies are there in the last?
The last stand they actually do something a bit different. They, in actual fact, it actually sort of tails off towards the end in terms of insanity for a brief period of time. Like instead of getting difficult, it actually gets a bit easier because you end up in this area where there's respawning health packs and respawning ammo packs. So for a period of time, you just go right, cannonball launcher. I'm going to run everything over, and that's kind of cool. but it's quite easy. But then the last boss is particularly crazy because it eventually involves it's one of these running sections, but if you stop, you're pretty much dead. If you miss some of the enemies, you're probably dead. And even when you get to the end, sometimes the cutscene will kill you.
What?
I'm not
intentional,
kidding.
Or is that just
no, I don't think it's intentional. But you get to the end, and you're supposed to get into the Great Pyramid at the ending. While this giant enemy, who's taller than the pyramid, is chasing you. He's pretty big, and you run past this epically long straight bit of road with wereballs coming at you that want to run you down. That's the problem. If you miss them, they then get behind you, and you then can't see where they're coming whilst you're trying to run, and then dodging them becomes impossible, and you die. Whilst being flung several hundred meters into the sand. And so you get to the top of the pyramid, and then you don't know where to go because the door's not open. You're just like, what's going on? You have to stand there for a bit, facing off nunchucketeers, which I must explain are weird bone monsters that throw balls and chains at you from somewhere that look a little bit like nunchucks, so we call them nunchucketeers.
They're really balasses, or whatever those things are called, where you have like two heavy balls on a piece of string. Balasses?
I don't know the technical term.
I'll have to look on the internet again.
Molasses.
I'll find this thing.
Anyway, they throw those at you, but where they come from, no one knows. They sort of materialize out of their face. But anyway, you stand on the top of this pyramid phase, and you say, well, what the fuck do I do? Then this giant monster starts shooting homing giant suns at you. Well, they look like suns. They're humongous balls of yellow.
Is this the big main boss? Right?
Yeah, kinda. But after a while, the door behind you to the pyramid opens, and you go inside it. But if you get it just that little bit wrong, because by this point you're quite dead, you walk into the pyramid. But on the cutscene, the bullets are still coming.
Oh no!
So these yellow balls follow you down the corridor and can kill you.
And does the camera just carry on as if you were still alive, or?
No. It switches to first person and says you are dead.
Oh,
Game over.
That's really lame.
So the way I found to get around it was to just skip the cutscene.
Brilliant. So you don't even see the final scene because you're...
Well, no. Eventually I managed to get it, so I got the cutscene to trigger, but while there was no bullets following me and I survived, but...
And was it a spectacular ending? Did you blow up the big bad guy?
Eventually, yeah. You summon this giant spaceship who hovers over the top, and it's actually... You can... kill it with weapons eventually, but its health regenerates over time, and you essentially have to jump through 4 hoops. Literally, you have to jump through hoops in order to cause this giant space laser from the mothership to sort of zap it a bit. Space laser. And then somehow it's a teleportation device for you, so you jump in it and get teleported onto the spacecraft, and then attempt to somehow use a telephone to dial the bad guy and say, yes, I'm coming for you. But of course you get the phone number wrong the first time you tried to dial.
Oh, of course.
Why would you be... You go onto an alien spaceship and you pick up a telephone and you ring up the bad guy.
Yeah, it's like, hi, is that mental? Yeah, I just kicked all your goons and I'm coming to get you soon. Okay, nice talking to you. Bye.
Please leave a message after the beep. Oh, damn.
I found it. It's Bolas. Bolas. B-O-L-A-S. Bolas.
Bolasai.
There you go. I'll post a link for you guys to look at. Or I won't because it won't work.
No.
Oh, wait. I'm on the wrong channel.
Nunchucketeers.
Bolas.
So
I think we'll stick with nunchucketeers.
So maybe boluses. Bolasses.
Bolacitators.
That's even better than nunchucketeers. Bolacitators.
Bolacitators. They just sound like a really disgusting potato.
Bolacitators. I can't believe you have the bolacity to do that. Oh dear.
Oh man, that's so bolatacious.
I'm trying to say bodacious.
Bodacious bolatators.
Or you could use some of these other names. Although technically for the nunchucketeers, it's the 2 weights one. I'm not even sure how the hell you pronounce this. Avastrucera.
Oh no, Average here it is.
I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that second one because it has an N with a wiggle over it. And fuck knows how you pronounce that.
Who knows all these phonetics? So when you're running from the big bad guy, are you running? What? And are you backpedaling while you're shooting?
No. The enemy while you're running to the pyramid. Fortunately, the big bad guy doesn't shoot. Or at least he doesn't shoot well enough at you. So you get to concentrate on the enemies in front, which include these weird mech things that have a showing brain and a mysterious mouth, a bit like the alien, but with rocket launchers instead of arms. And so they're shooting at you. You get this onslaught of wereballs, which are probably the funniest enemy in the game because they just charge at you and you get shoved miles when you do. But you can casually sidestep and then they sort of go past because of momentum, and then spend ages turning around. But as I said before, the problem is if you don't shoot those wereballs, they go past you and then start hitting you from behind where you're not looking because you're concentrating on shooting the guys shooting you in the face. And it's,
can they catch up to you after you've dodged them and they pass?
Yeah, they'll just turn around and come at you from behind.
All right, and they're faster than you.
Yeah, much faster.
Oh, okay. What are they just like bulls then? Werewolf bulls.
Yeah, supposedly. Although they don't change in moonlight, they're just constantly fucked up.
Naturally.
And so they're one of the fun. There's a bit where you have to dodge them and they all fall in a spike pit, which is kind of cool.
That sounds sort of fun. Dodging them as they end.
It's weird. It's one of those games though I played when the original came out, and when I thought I got to a certain point in the game, I thought, I must be getting near the end now. This section is impossible. Where I got to a really big arena and there was nothing but you face a wave of a massive wave of nunchucketeers, then a massive wave of men with no head and bombs instead of hands who somehow can still scream. They're amazing. They're a real testament to getting through adversity. They can scream with no head.
I have no mouth, yet I must scream.
Yeah, they do that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got to this point in the game, and I never got past it. And as a younger game, I thought, fuck me, this is hard. Maybe not in that sort of terminology. Core blimey, this is mighty difficult.
I know you thought that somehow.
Yeah, we all thought that when we were younger.
Core blimey,
Governor.
Core blimey, Governor. This is rather difficult.
Yeah. Anyway, and I thought that was the end of the game, but no, it goes on for like another several hours after that, and the game itself is actually only 6 hours long. However, it takes you about 15 hours to play it because you will die, and it doesn't count that towards your game time.
Oh, it doesn't count that?
No. The only reason I know that is because the Steam time clock is quite a lot higher than the actual game clock I had. It's only 6 hours long, but it will take you much longer than that to complete it.
I can imagine, yeah.
Unless you're totally awesome.
But yeah, I was quite proud of myself for finishing that because it's really hard, even in normal mode.
So
you finished stingy with its achievements.
You finished an extremely old game instead of many of the new ones that you need to finish.
It's really stingy with its achievements, though. In my first playthrough, out of the, I think it's got like 16 achievements on Steam, I got 2. One of which was for killing something, I think. Killing a certain type of enemy. Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Kill something in this first-person shooter.
And the other achievement was for finishing the game. The rest of them are ridiculous. Like, do the entire game without dying and reloading. And there's another one for finishing the entire game using nothing but the knife.
Is there like ridiculous. That's insane. I mean, how can you even do that?
I played through like 15 hours of game time, presumably after dying and stuff, just to get this knife achievement.
That's crazy. I mean, is there a limit on the number of achievements they can have on Steam?
Like I don't think so.
Well, judging by TF2, probably not.
With its 400 odd.
Exactly. You'd wonder why they'd only put 16 and then make them all virtually impossible.
Really hard, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they added deathmatch mode recently, which I haven't tried yet, but the achievements on that actually seem... They've added achievements because of that, and they seem reasonably attainable. But
I guess maybe they're one-to-one, the achievements with the Xbox Live Arcade ones, and they're limited 2,
maybe,
aren't they? So
possibly. You get limited to 12 on Live Arcade.
Yeah, so perhaps, yeah.
Although I can't imagine they would be that hard. They just seem, well, maybe they are, but it just seems ridiculous.
Yeah, it'd be even harder on console to try and complete the entire game with a knife.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I dread to think how the game plays on console, actually. It must be really, really hard.
Is there a demo? You should probably try it, see
probably.
What it's like.
Yeah, there should be. It's kind of the Xbox Live rules, isn't it? Where any game on their system has to have a demo.
Yeah. So probably worth a go just to see how hilarious. It'd probably look pretty good on your big TV as well.
Fun games until someone loses an eye. As you fight the one-eyed monsters.
Which I imagine happens quite a lot in Serious Sam.
Yeah.
So you've been playing anything else?
I'm playing that. Me and my brother did a bit of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Spec Ops.
Oh yeah?
Which is...
You enjoying that?
I am and I'm not. It's still one of those games where I play it and sometimes I think it's quite technically good because the Spec Ops is probably the best bit of the game.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, yeah.
At the same time, it's still endlessly frustrating sometimes because in the hardest difficulty level, the enemies are impossibly accurate.
What happens if you die in Spec Ops then? Do you respawn?
You sort of have the classic down need reviving system. So your teammate can come over to you and revive you if he gets there quick enough.
What if he's
admittedly has a minute or two to do so.
What if he's in an aeroplane or something, you know?
Oh, then you're buggered. Then it's end of mission.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is extra annoying on the really long levels.
But I thought they were only you were saying they're only 10 minutes each or something, aren't they?
Some of them take you a bit, but even so, repeating a 10-minute section is quite irritating.
That's true.
And some of the levels take you longer than that if you're taking your time. And all I can say at this point is fucking juggernauts. You don't get them in the main game, but they're like impossible bastards in like veteran difficult or 3-star difficulty Spec Ops mode because they take like 5 headshots, and if you don't, they're like. The classic idea of a big bloke wearing masses of armor, and of course they run just as fast as normal people, and they come barreling towards you, just spewing gunshots, which seems just happen to hit you every time. And if you manage to get a headshot on them, they get stunned for a bit. So you basically have to chain like 4 or 5 headshots together in order to down him. And obviously, if he gets close, you're fucked. They're just ridiculous. Maybe I just suck, but I think they're just not fun. And you face one at the start of this level, and then you get to a section towards the end of the level where 2 of them spawn in, one in front, one behind, and you just can't get rid of them fast enough.
I see.
And it's at that point you've invested like 12, 15 minutes in the level, and then you just get owned in an instant, and it's like, well, this isn't fun anymore.
That kind of happened to us on the ODST firefight a fair bit, where it would get to a certain point and then we just die a lot.
Yeah.
Invisible brutes with flame grenades. Worst thing ever.
Well, yeah,
Especially with cats.
This leads us to the other thing we've been doing. Yeah, me and Zach have been attempting to play the ODST firefight stuff.
Is that a special mode?
Yeah, it's a new mode they introduced in ODST where it's essentially like a survival game where you stand in one place and the enemies sort of pile on you,
like that
and you have to see how long it can last.
Dead.
Yeah, but it's quite well designed because they sort of come in waves, and the rules of the game sort of get mixed up every now and then, and you have a shared life pool, and so it's quite well thought out. Like at the start, for instance, you get like tough luck turned on, meaning that enemies are good at dodging grenades, or they'll try and dodge everything. But then it adds catch to the mix, so they dodge grenades and throw tons of them at you, which is really, really hard.
Oh gosh! So
and
you
worse
can just
than that,
turn on the skulls, can you?
No, you don't have the ability to turn. The game turns the skulls on for you.
Oh right, yeah, I know. Okay.
As it to mix it up as you go through. Worse than that, though, it means I can only pretty much manage 10% of the target score.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like there's meant to be like it's like 3 sets, and then each set has like 4 waves. Each wave is like 3 spawns of enemies. We manage we don't even manage 1 we get to like the 3rd or 4th wave of a set. I think
there's 5 sets with 3 rounds a set, each with 5 waves in them. Something ridiculous like that, and it's.
We don't even finish one set.
No, we finish a set. But
no, I don't think we do we? We finish.
No, we do finish one. Oh no, that's it. You're right. No, we finish a round, and
we normally get to round 3, I think, before we get screwed.
Yeah, or 2.5. No, I don't think we've ever made it to round 3. Actually, I think we always get stuck halfway through 2.
Or towards the end of 2, when the last big wave of brutes comes.
Yeah.
So how long is it supposed to go on for?
Well, those games
bloody long time.
Yeah, those games last us about 15 minutes, don't they?
Yeah. Of continuous action as well. You practically don't get a let up. You can barely kill the enemies fast enough before the next wave spawns.
Again, probably because we're not that good at it, but it doesn't. Yeah, but maybe you just need all 4 players to make it bearable. You know, maybe it doesn't scale to the number of people in the level.
That'd be kind of possibly weird if it didn't.
What is that? So you're only 10% of your way to like an achievement for getting to the end of the survivor mode.
There's one for every level.
One of those maps.
Yeah,
that's totally ridiculous.
Okay, well that's interesting.
There was some, we had the occasional periods of awesome, mainly when we were on the last life, and it was like hero mode, where you resurrect the other guy.
That's quite a cool mechanic, actually. If you survive you get new lives at the end of a round, but if you survive a wave as the last man standing, you resurrect your teammates. And it shouts, hero!
Yeah, we got that a couple of times when we were doing better.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool mechanic. I like that. Keeps you in the game for longer. So
it's like second wind almost.
Kinda, yeah.
Hero wind.
Commendation of gassiness.
Part wind propel. So ODST and
what else have I been doing?
Modern Warfare.
Modern Warfare 2 Spec Ops. I'm sure there was something else I was doing. Oh, I played a little bit of to try and get it through. During the Steam sale over Crimbo, I picked up a couple of indie games on the cheap. One of which was Brave, which I haven't played this week. But I did play a bit of Osmos. Bit more. It's this. It's supposed to be like an ambient chill out game where you're like this cell essentially that eats cells that are smaller than itself, and so the concept is you have to eat the smaller cells whilst trying not to be eaten by the big cells. It's basically a sort of more ambient version of Spore's Cell Stage.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And it's entirely based on that essentially. And eventually, you get enemies that sort of run away from you or will try and eat you aggressively. And some levels actually have sort of like a force orbit system, so you have to float in orbit and try and change your trajectory so you hit stuff of the right size. And
orbit? What are you orbiting?
As you're sort of in a petri dish with some sort of a tractor in the middle, so there's like a circular orbit around this object, and you have to sort of adjust your you have to adjust your orbit in order to consume what you want. The process of moving is cool because you eject bits of yourself out into the thing which other things can eat, but it also reduces your own size.
I see, using a thrust or whatever.
So there's a strategic element to what you can do as well, and it's
interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's a chill outy one that actually isn't so chill outy when you get to the end, the last few levels, because it's really annoying. But it's infuriating
because it's difficult.
Well, some levels have you. There's a couple of levels I'm on where you get basically the world is filled with cells and they're not moving. They're just all static at this point, and you're kind of boxed in as to where you can go. So you kind of have to eject stuff into other cells in order to give them a bit of momentum, so they move out of the way, giving yourself a path you can move through. And the process of doing this takes quite a long time, and sometimes it can backfire quite badly, as you'll like just end up with one uber cell that you can't get rid of. And
I see. It doesn't sound too relaxing towards the end there, but
no, towards the end it's kind of cool.
It eases you into it, I guess.
Yeah, I only got it for like £1, I think, so I can't really complain too much.
But it is a game, not like a Flower or something, which is more a sort of Gloat.
An experience.
Yeah, an experience, as it were. Sounds interesting. Is it pretty?
Not massively. It's
okay.
Just
I was just wondering.
it's okay. It's not bad looking, but it's it's not throwing crazy effects everywhere. Let's put it that way.
It's not because like games like I don't know Flow and stuff like that. Sometimes they are a bit, even though they're 2D, they're quite a bit of a graphical showcase. Like what's it? Yeah, Geometry Wars style. That's quite pretty, isn't it?
Yeah. No, Geometry Wars is quite nice. No, this keeps it fairly simple. I mean, it's still quite floaty, and as I say, everything's a bit floaty, a bit ambient. Like you get the idea, like particles just floating around in whatever juice it is you swim in, and the as bad as that sounds, but yeah, it's all right. Yeah.
Zach, I actually had an idea the other day for updating Galactic Warriors, wasn't it? Is that what it was called? Do you remember that?
Yes, that does sound like
that was the music, and it was the simplest game ever, but I really enjoyed that. It was really fun, and I was thinking, if my idea was that, like, you picked up those power-ups, and then, what was it, you got to a certain number to win, didn't you? Or go to the next level. I was thinking, what if just a simple adjustment to it? Like, obviously the controls we'd have to change so they're like 360, and you could use a 360 controller. So instead of going, it was 4 directions, wasn't it? Was it 8 directions?
It was 8 directions.
It was 8 directions, yeah, and it had that weird acceleration thing. And basically,
it didn't really have acceleration very much.
Yeah, this was a very simple game that we made in the very early days of us creating games with the Games Factory, which is the software on the PC. And it was 2-player, and it was a static background with some sort of planets in space. And you were these spaceships that moved with an 8-directional movement. So on different halves of the keyboard. So one person would have the cursor keys, and one person would have WSAD or something. In fact, it wasn't WSAD, it was something obscure that we invented. Probably OPAZ or something.
Yep.
Anyway, and you just, basically these power-ups would spawn randomly, and you had to just race each other to collect them, and the planets were like physical barriers that you could run into, and you had to
You lose points if you hit the planets.
Did you? Yeah, that's right. You lose points if you hit the planets. So you had to avoid the planets and get the power-ups, and then the first to 5 power-ups went on to the next level. And that was the whole game.
The power-ups give you score.
Yeah, they give you score.
You lost planets by bumping into. You lost points by bumping into the planets, but you gained points from them picking up the power-ups. You had to reach a certain score to progress.
So my idea was, okay, we update it. I was thinking this might be a good test bed for finally making like a 3D game, because it would be a really simple game. You could make it 2D on a plane. Oops. On a plane, but sorry, I just bashed my microphone away. Yeah, but have 3D, pseudo 3D, like 3D graphics, but I'm talking about like the new Sonic games where it's like it's really 2D. Anyway, but you fly. But my idea was that the points you could also expend points on boost, so you could move faster than your opponent by boosting, but it would also reduce your score. And that would tempt them to try and boost and reduce their score, and you could end up spending more boost trying to get to a power up than the power would actually give you. So it'd be like an interesting trade-off race type game. I thought that might be quite fun, so we might think about maybe getting a copy of XNA Game Studio and making that for Xbox Live Arcade or something. Probably wouldn't be too difficult. And we'd have to have the classic music as well. In fact, Rob, we'd have to
remake it or something.
Yeah, you'd have to do a remix of DNA for it. Had that really annoying like piano riff over the top of it, didn't it?
I can't actually remember that.
All
I remember is the down, down.
Yeah, it had that.
That
had all that. It went on for ages. It was like 3 minutes of MIDI file, and then it would just loop over and over again. So yeah, so that was my idea. I don't know why Osmos sort of reminded me of that. Probably because it's sort of 2D and you move around. That's the closest.
2D and you move around. That's all you need.
Well, what do you think of that idea, Zach? With the boost,
it's fairly hilarious. I think the main problem with it was Because in the old, you really didn't accelerate. It was literally pretty much just 8 directional movement. That was the main problem. It made avoiding things not very difficult because you didn't have any momentum or anything.
Yeah, you'd have to. We'd have to make it so it was difficult to avoid the planets in some way. You know, you wouldn't want to make it too easy.
Because make it ridiculous and have it so it's gravity.
Yeah, but that would really change the game, wouldn't it? That might be interesting though. That'd be quite easy to add. But I was thinking, well, maybe it should be quite easy to avoid the obstacles if you're on your own. But because you're trying to race through these gaps against the
that was the other kind of thing that the original didn't really have. The idea was that like the other person could bump you out of the way. Except of course with Games Factory you couldn't physically do that because when you collide you just bounce off each other and both of you just bounce. There was no way to like have proper collisions. Or at least not easily.
Proper collisions didn't work. So basically, when you ran into each other, you'd both just sort of stop.
Yeah. Stop and bounce off each other in a random direction.
You wouldn't really bounce off each other, would you? You'd bounce in the direction you were originally travelling.
Well, no, I think you bounced in the opposite of the direction you were traveling. So if you were both travelling towards each other, you'd bounce backwards.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing. If you're both, say, coming one person like from the bottom of the screen and one person going from the bottom of the screen at an angle, you'd both sort of hit each other and then both head back towards the bottom, which makes no sense.
You were coming. Yeah, and then you'd move in the same direction again in order to get to the power-up, and you'd just bounce off again in exactly the same manner. And you'd have to try and... Oh, it was crazy. That was a really bad game, but really fun. So...
Yeah.
So coming soon from Collision Software, possibly... Galactic Warriors. That's a terrible title as well, so we'd have to do that.
Would you want to have guns or something attached to your warriors, or at least a big sword or a Viking helmet?
I don't think that there was a spaceship in the or a space station on the final level that would shoot at you.
It would fire Sputniks at you.
Yeah, it would fire Sputniks, and you'd have to avoid Sputniks.
But that was the easiest level as well, because you just went round and round it in a circle.
You just went round and round in circles. Which would be a lot more fun if it was orbital, to be honest. You know, rather than
that was classic.
Interesting. So yes. So does that wrap up any other indie games you've been playing there, Rob?
Audio Surf. I've been delving into that.
Classic.
Sort of little bit.
Yeah, it's a good time killer. Like whenever you need to fill a few minutes before you go somewhere, fire up Audio Surf and have a good game.
When you desperately need to play I Buy the Drugs.
Yeah, any excuse to listen to that.
Every time that comes up in my win-out playlist, it's like, oh fuck, now I have to go play that in Audio Surf.
They really need to put that game on the iPhone. It would be pretty much ideal, I think.
That would be pretty sweet, actually.
If you could use your iPod library as well. I think they've granted apps access to that now.
And they could make like a hardcore mode where instead of touching the screen, you tilt it.
Oh yeah, that'd be amazing.
Be hard.
They definitely have that, yeah. I still like playing that mode where you don't have the sort of puzzle thing. It's just like two colours. What's that called?
Oh, Mono.
Ninja.
Yeah, Mono.
Ninja
I like playing Ninja Mono. Yeah, that's probably my favourite.
Nah, yeah, you got to hardcore it up and play Eraser.
Not that Eraser is actually that hardcore.
Well, no, but it's a bit more fun than trying to attempt Pusher and Point Man.
Pusher is fucking impossible. Don't understand how people do it. As in Eraser, if you cock up, you just erase it. It makes it really easy to undo your mistakes. And they made it even easier recently in that patch where you can unerase the last thing you erased. So even if you have a grid which is perfectly not making a single match, you just erase all of one colour, all the other colour drops down to form a big block of that, and then you drop the other colour on top. So it's like 2 matches, ding! That just makes it rather easier.
I don't understand the scoreboards in that game. Like the scoreboards are like they're online scoreboards, but they don't seem to. I can't seem to get it to filter by like the game mode I'm playing. Can you do that, or I don't know? No, because the scores are always from people playing a completely different mode, and naturally going to get a completely different kind of score. I don't know what.
Well, the idea they did various patches in the early days where they balanced the scores to make them more even. But they still never made it so that... Because Mono never scores as much as any of the other ones.
No, you're never going to be balanced.
Even with the balance that they did to make it closer.
The problem with Mono is you have to stealth it, which is, not hit a single bad block.
Yeah, it's quite hard
and then you get quite a large bonus, don't you? Which is...
Yeah.
And clean finish it as well, ideally. Although that's easier with mono if you don't hit anything.
Yeah.
And you make sure you at least have 3 to end with.
Yeah, it's all about.
I actually went down to like pro again because it's like when you play a Razor, you don't really get any power ups or anything. So it's
don't really get any in elite mode, do you?
Well, you do in
you get the lightning bolts which drop a load of a certain color onto your grid, but
but you do get quite a few power ups in Pusher, relatively speaking. Pusher Elite. But I went back down to pro and it was like, I'll just play Vegas because that's funny. It's like shit tons of power ups and you can randomly rearrange all the blocks in your grid. That's just like fun mode. It's like that's never going to be a competitive scoreboard because it is literally totally random. And it's like in Vegas, you can pretty much it's just like pick up every single block and then just keep rearranging them until they match.
Vegas or the Vegas.
I still think you should be able to filter the scoreboards if you want, though, to like people playing the exact.
Yeah, I guess that would be kind of interesting.
I mean, as just an option, just to see if anyone had played.
They do even have. They even show all the icons for the different types of character at the bottom.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
they don't do anything.
You can't filter by them in any way. It's really weird. Anyway,
of course, if you want to be super hardcore, play Double Vision in Elite. Play 2 characters at once. Whee!
Oh dear. Don't think my brain could cope with that.
I can't remember what song it is, but there's one of the songs that I've played fairly regularly where the guy who's on top is in Pusher Elite, and then the next person down in second place is obviously the same guy, only he's made another account for only playing Double Vision. It's like his name, apart from his name with Double Vision attached to the end of it. So it's like he's in the top 2 slots of the scoreboard as Pusher and Double Vision.
Hardcore.
Well, why would he make a second account to play that mode then?
God only knows. Maybe he wanted more. Maybe he wanted to be on scoreboards more. Maybe he was like, I can totally do. Like, I want to be in top 3 places, all of them, not just one.
Son of a bitch. Oh dear. Some people are too damn good at audio surf, apparently.
Yeah. If you can play Pusher, then you have a better chance. But I've tried it several times and I just can't manage it. It's too much to handle.
Can't get the grips of it. The game's too fast for me to sort of think like that. Right, left.
It's because you have to it's because the way Pusher works, where you push it to the left or the right, depending on what button you're clicking, and then obviously it depends on what column you're in, to which column you're pushing to. That's just way too complicated.
So that's the game's been played so far, isn't it? I guess. Have you guys been playing any TF2 these days?
I played a little bit, mainly because it was like, my ranking is going down on the scoreboards because I haven't played for so long. Because on the scoreboards for the HH servers, it's last 28 days, and I hadn't played for so long. I was starting to lose all my points. It was like, oh fuck, I better go play some.
This is the Hampshire heavy servers that we play on quite regularly.
Yeah,
scoreboards. And Zach, you do really rather well on them, don't you? Because you play so much.
Well, it's not necessarily just that I do so much, but I do. Well, the main thing is that I've pretty much been top since we started playing on those servers. I very quickly became top of the Huntsman, and then stayed there. And then when they reset the stats, went straight back to the top of Huntsman again. But that's mainly because no one else uses it.
I wanted to talk about the Huntsman, actually. I've been playing with the Huntsman, actually. I did that thing with the scripting to change the controls, which was a lot harder than I thought it would be to actually implement, because I couldn't get this sort of drawdown animation. Because what happens is, what's the normal controls?
You hold left click to pull it back, and then release to fire.
Press right click to undraw.
Right. So what I wanted was, I wanted it so that you hold down the right button to draw, and if you let go of the right button, it will undraw. But if you left click while you're drawn back, then it will fire. That's what I wanted, because I thought it would be a bit closer to how the heavy works and stuff. And I just about managed to get that to work, but the only way the script works is that when you release the right button to undraw, it doesn't actually undraw. what it does is use Zach's trick of changing weapons twice, so it will flick to something else and immediately flick back to the huntsman, which is just as quick as the undraw animation.
I never quite know whether it is as quick. That's the trouble.
No. That would cause you a slight delay because there's no delay in the weapon lift when you switch to it. But so you go. The thing is, so you'll have a bit of time where you can't do anything.
Yeah, but there's already a bit of time you can't do anything as you undraw. When you're undrawing. It's not
but the
instant,
thing is, theoretically, you can redraw midway through your undraw.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, whereas you can't do that with this. But this is the only way I could make it work. But it's been worth it because I've been really enjoying it. Actually, it's been really good fun. Like I've only really played with it. Like I played it once on the Hampshire Heavy and was getting owned. But I think that was because I was on my own on the Hampshire Heavy servers where everyone's really quite good.
Yeah, they are quite a lot.
Time.
They are. It's like as I discovered, I went and played on like a random other server. Well, not entirely random. It was a server I knew from before we started playing the H8 servers. I played on it quite a lot. But I went there and played the Huntsman, and it was like, I came top of my team with like 90 points.
Yeah.
It was like, oh. But then again, that was also because the spies on that server were so shit, I changed to the piss jar and started getting goddamn tons of assist points as well. It's like, I don't need my backstab shield any longer on this server. Bonus points for me.
But it's pretty great having the backstab shield when you are using the Huntsman as well, isn't it?
Because you need to be like all over the place in the front lines and...
Yeah.
Normally, when I used to do actual sniping, you'd still try to like keep your back to the wall, even though that didn't really work because they could still quite easily sidestab you most of the time.
But you can't do that with a
Huntsman. It did help somewhat. No,
you
really have to be.
You have to be in the fight almost, yeah, and you can't, and you have to draw back, and that does make your back vulnerable, like in the middle of a fight, which is perfect for enemy spies. So having that, having the back shield thing, what's it called?
Razorback,
that's it, yeah, is really useful. I mean, they never seem to get me because you hear the bzzz sound and you turn around and you just stab them to death. It's really funny.
Yeah,
it's like extra kills.
Most of the time they don't even bother stabbing the shield. I do get pistoled quite a lot though, of course.
Yeah,
because clever spies actually know to try and shoot you instead.
Once they see the thingy, they'll just line up an ambassador shot and then...
Yeah.
Although the number of times the ambassador shots miss, it's like they must be lining it up. They must know that I'm there, and they must be sitting behind me in disguise or whatever. Line up the shot, and then somehow it doesn't headshot me. I very rarely get ambassador headshotted.
I've had that problem though because
I've where it's like spam the shots in.
I've had that problem though because I've been increasingly trying to play as spy because if it goes really well, it's probably the most satisfying thing in the game when you have a good spy run. But it's just so difficult to do that it's the other edge of the coin, really. It can be really frustrating. But using the ambassador, it's actually really hard. It doesn't seem to be perfectly accurate like it portrays. Even if you do sit there and line up a shot, a lot of the time it just doesn't hit. And it's I don't know if it maybe it's still bugged or something. I don't know, but it just doesn't seem to act how you expect.
Or maybe lag plays more of a part than you imagine.
Potentially, yeah. Potentially,
because of the hitboxes, the hitbox. People always complain about the hitboxes forever.
That's going to happen in every game that's ever made, though. Hitbox, like this kind of game, people used to complain about it in Quake 3, didn't they? The hitboxes and stuff.
Even though it had no head detection.
No, it didn't, but it did have hitboxes for just detection in general.
That's because they were trying to make it fair, didn't they? And some of the models were a lot bigger than others.
Yeah, like the orb guy with the big eye. He was a bit of an odd shape, wasn't he? Everyone had the same hitbox, didn't they?
Or Tank Jr., who was pretty beefy, but...
Yeah, he had all kinds of giant chunks of metal sticking outside of where the hitbox would have been.
That's true.
It was huge.
But I was playing on a public server with the Huntsman on Badwater Basin, which was absolutely ideal because it's it's quite thin and long, so it's quite good for range stuff. But if you're a proper sniper, you have to keep moving and setting up in different places, don't you? Because it's not.
But then again, the bow isn't actually really great for range.
Well, I like it for the medium range because you can sit outside of you can sit outside basically of the range where heavies can do you any serious damage, really. With their minigun, because the minigun spread is really bad, actually. It's one of the most important things to know when playing heavy, is that you really need to treat it like a high-speed shotgun. Yeah. If you treat it like a flamethrower, you can get a lot of kills. But yeah, you can
irritate people from long distance.
You can, but it's not.
The thing that I find with the spray is, you like. I'm always tempted to like deliberately not aim at people to try and get like the edge of the arc of the spray to hit them. It's like, does that actually work, or is that actually worse or better or the same?
I suppose you reduce the frequency that they'll hit at the edge of the spray range.
Yeah, I'm not exactly.
It must tail off towards the outside.
I presume so, but do you get the maximum percentage right in the centre?
Yeah.
At range.
Do more bullets go towards the middle of that circular zone, or do more of them sort of skirt the edge? Because you can't really see the bullets in the middle. That's the thing when you're seeing it from the first-person perspective. You see the ones that go round that form the edge of the spray zone, but you don't know how many there are in the middle, or at least not as easily. It's just probably a perception thing. It's probably actually perfectly even.
I wouldn't fuck with it. Just aim and shoot.
Yeah, just aim straight. I mean, it's supposed to be designed for people who aren't quite so hot on that aiming, isn't it?
Well, the other thing
I've got heavies like most of my time, bitch.
No. I mean, that's what it says in the developer commentary mode, isn't it? I don't know.
Is it?
I think so. It's like they were trying to make a class that had...
spear bullets.
The other thing that's totally awesome about the Huntsman and the heavies is totally taunt kills. Shoot a heavy and it doesn't kill them, and then they run around the corner and eat sandwich, and you have plenty of time to just run up there and stab them. I did it like twice last week.
What's
like
the
when a heavy
kill
retreats
then?
down the corner.
He gets the huntsman bow and stabs them with an
it.
arrow, and then when he pulls it out, they die.
The forward stab stuns, and the backward stab kills. So if you're shooting a heavy at sort of reasonably close range, but he doesn't die, but he hasn't got a medic, so he runs back, and then if you hear him start eating a sandwich, you have probably enough time to leg it up there and do the taunt before he can move again.
That's really funny.
It's totally awesome.
That. I'm gonna have to remap my.
Did it a couple of times.
Gonna have to remap my taunt button so it's a bit easier.
And I also got another ridiculous taunt kill on. Like defending a point where I was standing around a corner because we were on the last point. I was standing around a corner because I knew the enemies were just going to rush it, taunting because I knew we were going to lose, and I was basically totally useless at that range. And it's like the forward stab hit one soldier as he came around the corner, but then one of my team hit him with an explosion which blasted him back around the corner, and I was like, oh no, he's escaped because he only got hit by the stun. But then another soldier ran out just as I did the backfall, and it killed him instead. It was classic. Hit two people with the taunt, but obviously only killed one of them.
Awesome.
That's the kind of awesome taunt kill maneuvers you have.
And of course, I don't think I've ever got a taunt kill.
The classic sniper taunt kill tactic that I managed to get on video for that first video I uploaded to YouTube of camping teleporters.
Waiting for them to come through.
Particularly with spies, when they do the sapping and stabbing, where they sap the teleporter at the spawn multiple times, and then when the engineer unsaps it, they like pretend that the guys at the spawn had killed the spy, and then they come through the teleporter. So it's like, if you hear a spy sapping away teleporter, just run over there and just stand next to the teleporter, taunting over and over until the spy comes through.
Okay.
I've got like two kills from that as well.
Killing the spy who's trying to trick you by coming through. That's quite cunning.
That was a funny plan. Oh, you could probably do it to enemy teleporters as well, if you found an enemy teleporter that didn't have anyone around it. But killing.
You could just stand there forever doing that, though. You'd never know if someone's going to come through or not, really.
Well, assuming it's a decent teleporter in the right place.
Yeah, then. Have the spies always been able to go through enemy?
No, that was
fairly
an
recent,
update.
isn't it?
Yeah, fairly. I think that was during the spy and sniper update. They put that in.
Oh, okay. I've never tried that as a spy. I might have to try that.
It's
I've always been a bit paranoid about it, because you'll end up in the middle of a firefight, possibly.
Of course, you can get telefrags as well, if you're lucky.
What?
If it's like a crowded sentry nest or whatever.
Oh,
there's people standing around. Or if the engineer is foolish enough to stand on top of his teleporter while he's repairing it or removing sappers. Because that happened a lot during like the first week of that update. Because engineers would naturally stand on top of their teleporter to remove the sapper, and then as soon as they removed the sapper, the spy would just teleport through instantly and kill them.
Does that still happen? Are engineers wary that they need
most people worked out that was not to do that. Although it is quite a lot harder to, hit and teleporter when you're not standing directly on top of it. Because you have to crouch and you have to be hitting it at an angle.
Yeah, it's quite hard because they're quite thin, aren't they?
Flat.
Yeah, they're quite flat, so it's quite difficult to do. I think I always do. I've always done that. I don't know what I was afraid of standing on top of it for. But you can't get telefragged by your own team, can you?
No.
So, I don't know. This is the only way you can telefrag, is the spies going through them, right?
Yeah. Well, unless a random enemy happens to be walking on top of a teleporter.
Oh, right, yeah. And
like an undefended teleporter or whatever.
Right, and then you can telefrag.
Oh, right, so you can't team telefrag.
No. Yeah, apparently you can telefrag people while they're Ubered as well. If an Uber happens to be standing on top of a teleporter.
Yeah, because that makes sense, because it's kind of the classic, isn't it, from the days of
Quake 1.
End boss of Quake 1, yeah, the only way to kill it was to telefrag it, wasn't it? Which is really dumb, but quite funny. That's quite bizarre, because that's using quite an obscure sort of gaming phenomenon of telefragging as an actual...
You might not have known to do it if you hadn't played any of the multiplayer.
Exactly, yeah. It's really weird.
Or attempted to spawn too many people into a small map.
It was like a blob that kept moving through the boss's flesh, wasn't it? And you
it just literally passed through.
Yeah.
It didn't have any effect or anything. It would just be in the boss somehow.
And you just had to look out the window, wait for it to go inside the boss for some reason, and then telefrag the boss, and that was it.
And then you'd be standing there in a pose.
Yeah.
With your axe, I think.
You have one, Quake. Good old Quake.
The winner is you.
So yeah, really enjoying the Huntsman there, but I don't think I would be so much on the Hampshire Heavy service, because I'll probably get owned by everyone. But
speaking of Valve stuff, Passing came out this week. We must try it.
I haven't played that yet. I was waiting for you to turn up, basically.
Hello.
Because I didn't want to play it by myself, because then I'd be stuck with bot tards.
or random online tards.
So at least one other person would be preferable to free bots.
Yeah.
I found out who dies in the Passing, unfortunately. It was just on Reddit, I think.
Boo,
Spoilers!
No spoilers.
Boo. I'm annoyed about it, so yes.
I was hoping it would be random.
Yeah, it should be random.
So different each time. That'd be cool.
Or like some, like maybe the route you take through the level modifies it, like how the director modifies the routes through the levels.
Yeah. It'd be quite funny if it killed off one of the players you were playing as. It's like, oh, fuck.
That'd be great. I don't know how they'd work that. That wouldn't work, would it? But it would still be great.
Not really.
You'd have to take control of someone else, wouldn't you?
I like how one of the
losing all your stuff.
I like how one of the achievements in the Passing is kite the tank, kite like a man, where you just have to run around with the tank chasing you, and the AI-controlled other survivors shoot it. This is like, you're not allowed to shoot tank. You just have to run around kiting it until it dies.
Yeah, cunning.
Fly the tank. I like that. That's an obscure phrase for that.
Not that obscure. Kiting is quite common in MMO terms.
Do you see the trailer then?
Like World of Warcraft or Eve.
Aggro,
or doesn't know of it.
No, evidently not. Then I don't play those life destroyers.
No, that's true. But I'm sure you've done it in other kinds of games. You probably do it in Halo.
Oh, presumably, yeah, but I've never heard of it referred to like... Yeah, because you kite the hunters, don't you, in Halo?
Yeah, well, sort of, I guess.
You can do in co-op, so the other players
It's the kite, yeah, that's not the same kind of thing. But that's why it's called kiting, because you're making a big long trail of things that follow you.
I see.
Well, there should be a lot of them, really, to make it truly kiting.
Yeah, you'd get long chains. You get that quite a lot. It's like that happens a lot in Eve, where like the different enemy ships move at different speeds, so naturally they form out into a long string as you move away from them.
Just a heads up, y'all. We've hit 2 hours.
Oh,
yeah,
we have.
About that time. It did seem like we'd been talking for a long ass time.
Actually, weirdly, mostly on topic, which is
yeah, apart from that politics
you say that.
In the middle.
We did have multiple serious times and a couple of extreme times.
I suppose it's been too serious this week. Oh shit, microphone movement.
I think it has been a bit serious.
Move.
I don't know why we talked about the election. That was pretty dumb. I think we should avoid that next time.
Well, yeah, that was my fault. But it's kind of in the thing. I was trying to bring up digital economy, but we actually ended up talking about politics proper.
Yeah. The BNP stuff was pretty funny, to be honest. Grandma racism, etc.
Yep.
I don't know. So yeah, I've played.
Just out of question,
I guess.
We better do.
Yeah, play some more.
What are you going to say, Rob?
I was actually going to say because one of Zach's names involves the word brown, and did that come from like your grandma or?
Oh god,
that was the other grandma.
What are you talking about?
Her second name is Brown.
Well, you know, I was thinking, you know, it'd be a bit weird to be racist and yet have a.
If you were called Brown,
that wouldn't be very weird, really.
Okay.
I think Brown.
But you're kind of suggesting that like black people naturally have the surname Brown.
Have names like Brown, yeah. Brown is like one of the most English names I can imagine. Though.
Hello, my name is Mr. Ethnic.
Oh dear. So yes,
or Sir Minority.
Yes, we better do Dan's games in like 15 minutes. Go.
Yeah,
well, that's no problem because I haven't been playing very many. I played some TF2 with the Huntsman, which I was enjoying, as we've just already discussed.
He could have been playing Get the Booger in the Trash Can.
What?
You know, like picking the nose and then rolling it a little bit, and then flicking it across the room, see if you can get it to land in the trash.
Oh, because I had a cold.
Because of your cold, yes. Naturally. I'm not completely just pulling this out of the air.
I don't know. Booger and trash can are both quite American, to be honest.
I'm trying to spread our wings and embrace our
appeal to the
Atlantic cousins. Yes, by saying booger and trash can.
Trash can.
Brilliant. Yeah, plenty of boogers and trash cans.
I'm just going to go to the restroom.
Yes, I am.
Have a rest on the loo.
Played a bit of GTA 4. I played that mission, almost the centerpiece, like bank robbing mission, which was because happened to be the next one when I loaded it up that I had to do, and man, I'd forgotten all the controls and stuff. Not of driving the car because that's easy, but like all the cover mechanics and stuff, and that made it a bit of a pain. Like it was this big set piece scene with all these cops and fights going on and stuff, and I spent my whole time going, get into cover, you damn freaking character. No, unstick from the cover. No, run down there, you stupid idiot. Yeah, so controls in that game for like shooting, not very good. And I still
actually don't like GTA 4.
Oh, it's my favourite game I've ever played, I think, pretty much. But I
don't know. The social crap just really turned me off.
I love GTA 4. Although, yeah, this time that I'm playing it through, I am ignoring every single time someone calls me up to go to the pub or something. Which was fair. It was fair enough the first time, but it was a bit too frequent, and now I've realised that
it was really, really crap. Sorry.
Well, I don't know. All the little things were quite fun to do, like the bowling and stuff, and the
But you had to do them so much. It was like...
Yeah, there was a bit
too the driving frame of bowling.
And the getting there, and the picking the dude up, and then the...
And it's time limited. Where it's like, you have to get here at this specific time, and you're halfway across the city. Go! Vroom!
Well, it wasn't that hard to get to them in time, usually, because it would set it up so that you didn't have to go... Like, it would never set it up so that you were stuck at one end of the city and you couldn't get there in time.
I don't know. I didn't play it very much, but every time I did it, it was like, oh, I can barely make it there in time if I rev it one.
I'm surprised that they didn't ever understand the fact that you're trying to make your living in Liberty City and calling you up 5 times a day. So hey, Nico, let's go shoot some pool. No, I'm killing bitches, you asshole. Shut up.
Yeah, it was a bit too much. I mean, you could turn your phone off.
That would be better if you could answer the phone.
Oh shit. Sorry, my bits of my desk are falling apart. I'm still good. Yeah. I'm still good.
It would be better if you could answer the phone and then like it had different options and one of them was like fuck off. Only
no, it would
be hilariously contextual. Where it'd be like,
I'm too tired. I've been up all night shagging.
Well, he does say some contextual things, like when you say no, I'm not interested. And they always say, no problem, another time. It's really funny because they never seem to have a problem with the fact that you're not around. They're like, no, next time, no problem. And then you get a little icon coming up that has a little thumbs down from the character. Like, cause
your friend is pissed at you.
Your friend hates you. And it's like, your friend obviously doesn't hate you because they're just saying, no problem.
Because they don't have anything better to do, so...
Well, Roman certainly doesn't.
Do they ring you up after a while and go, hey, Nico, you bellend, come see me, it's been too long, fuckwit.
Sort of.
Consider our friendship over unless you bowl with me.
I think they do start getting pissed off after a while, but the only reason to do those things is you get a perk from each friend. Once you get a certain level of a friendship.
Yeah, but then you have to maintain it, don't you? Or can you then tell them to fuck off?
I think you can tell them to fuck off then, but only some of the perks are really worth doing. But so there's an achievement for having everyone as your friend, which is the reason to do it the first time round, really. But this time round, I can't be bothered with the perks. Apart from, I might, if necessary, like
free taxis was useful.
Well, yeah, and there's like get backup is quite useful sometimes for some missions. Like a whole bunch of guys will come along, and there's one which is like
that could be cool.
There's one which gives you the ability to buy like weapons, like they'll pull up, I think, in a car, and you can buy weapons you can't normally buy from them.
Oh yeah, that was Rastaman, wasn't it?
Yeah. So some of them are useful, but and there's ridiculous ones, like the Brucey one is like you can get a helicopter anywhere in the city at any time. They'll just fly and turn up.
Awesome.
Yeah, so some of them are actually pretty awesome, so it is actually worthwhile doing it. But at the moment, while I'm going through, because you can always get it back. Like if you ignore them constantly, then you can. And you suddenly need their help, then you can just go on a whole bunch of activities with them and just build up their stats to the point where you can use their perks, if necessary. So they never get really pissed off with you. So yeah, they needed to turn down the dial and have them not ring you quite so much while you're trying to do the story. That was a bit of a slight mistake.
I don't know. I found myself sort of just doing non-fun things for the majority of the time, and some of the missions were really, really irritating because they had such a build-up, and then you got to the hard bit, and then you had a good drive ahead of you to retry it, and the lack of mid-mission checkpointing that was a bit crap.
Well, you do get mid-mission checkpoints. I mean, there were
occasionally, but there was that one where you have to. It starts off with a sniper section, and then you have to get down off the building and then drive into this place and kill the dudes and stuff. And there was no checkpoints at any point in the mission. And so you do the sniper section,
that the one on
and you
the
come down and go into
site?
it, and then you get instantly rocket launched or something explodes, and you have absolutely no idea what's happened, and you've got another 10-minute drive and snipe off before you can have another go. And that was the bit where I stopped, because it's like, what, sod this. This is the one mission I have to do now, and it's boring the crap out of me.
That's quite an epic one, isn't it? It's down by the docks on the... Yeah, and you have to... It's like a... They're like Italians, aren't they, or something? And you have to go up in that lift. And
it's like Italians or something. Those goddamn Italians.
Well, construction workers or whatever, but it's obviously a mob situation.
Mamma mia, it's a gangster.
Yeah, and you're on the top of and you have to go up in that lift thing, and yeah.
Shoot that son of a bitch.
That's quite a big, long one, isn't it? Yeah, and there aren't many. I think in the DLC that they started doing, starting with Lost and Damned, they started putting a lot more mid-mission checkpoints in. Like I think
yeah. To me, the DLC actually is more appealing because they get rid of all the gumph and actually concentrate on what makes GTA great, which is the story progression, the better mission structure generally in these case, and you know what I mean, without any of the friend system, blah. It
the
got
girlfriend
back to...
thing was pretty it was pretty optional in a way. Like, you could completely ignore your girlfriend. And, I mean, I don't know if you played enough to know that the first girlfriend was, spoiler alert, but she was a spy or something. And she wasn't really your girlfriend. But after that, it's just fairly unnecessary. Like,
I think the giveaway was, Nico, you're special, during the scene. Oh, you're so special.
No, tell me interesting things. That was her line. That was so funny. And like the first scene you see her, like you go into her house and Nico's like, why is everything brand new? Why are there labels on everything? And she's like, I like things clean. I'm not like a government agent who's just bought all this stuff to make it look like my house when I just moved in a week ago.
Honest.
To, like, spy on you. Honest. It's really funny.
I'm going to have to interrupt you there, Dan. We're going to have to wrap this up. I'm running out of recording space.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, crap. All the things that I had to talk about.
You managed to talk for 15 minutes.
Oh, dear.
Just
Okay.
Grand Theft Auto 4.
Well, yeah, maybe we'll have to do one of these. Me and Zach have been toying with the idea of mini casts that we could do, like if we do have an overrun, or in your absence, or someone's absence. But
yeah, that might be a good idea. While we wrap this up, we can talk about the future of this. Yeah,
60 seconds.
Don't worry about the time yet.
60 seconds!
We're going to try and do this.
No, I quite literally run out of recording space in 60 seconds. Well, 50 seconds now.
Okay, well, this is the end of the Saladcast then. Sunday 25th.
Forcibly.
Yes, I'm shutting it down, and we'll see you all next week when hopefully we've all recovered from colds and horribleness. Well, me specifically.
We've got a 30-second fade out now. We can
30 seconds, nothing, quick! Let's say something stupid. Or start a conversation that will get cut off hilariously.
No, let's have...
Or Rob can play some stupid sound effects. That works too.
Let's talk and just get quieter and quieter so that it sounds like fading out.